I hope everyone has had a fantastic Memorial Day. We got the white, blue, red, blue. We got it all going on. We are going to hop into some fantasy football drafts. Of course, thank you for deciding to come out here and hang out with me today. I truly do appreciate you, and I'm going to be ecstatic to get this set up. Now, you know where we are going to be drafting. We are going to be drafting over there on Underdog Fantasy. And I want to know, do y'all want to see some $5 drafts? Do y'all want to see some $25 drafts? We are going to get a couple going today, or at least I hope that we can get 2, maybe 3 drafts going. It's just going to depend on time. But let's just go right into it. I'm sure that everybody knows what Underdog Fantasy is by now. We'll talk about it in a second if somehow you are not signed up. And let's hop into the puppy draft. And shout out to Underdog. They've had this open for like, 3 or 4 days now. And they have had 27,000 entrants. If you don't know what Underdog Fantasy is, if you don't know what the puppy is, it's going to be a $5 fantasy draft. First place gets paid, second place gets paid, but a small percentage of every league pot is set aside for the fantasy football playoffs at the end of the year. And you see 75,000 to first, 40,000 to second. The $25 buy-in actually has 2 million to first, a million to second, and so on all down the line. Just hopped in here. It looks like this is already full, so it isn't going to take any time whatsoever. As we wait to get our spot, though, we are the 2 spot. Let me go through and pull up the chat to give everybody a shout out. We got Ethan, Adam, Stuart, Chimichanga, Falony, Chris, Spack, Thomas, Josh, Chris, Joe, the Razor, Fartman. We have everybody coming out here. Thank you, my dudes. I truly do appreciate it. And I hope y'all have had a fantastic Memorial Day so far. And at the 102, going to be very simple. I'm sure that most people know we are probably going to be going Cooper Kupp. If Cooper Kupp goes to the 101, we will take Jonathan Taylor. There's not much to it. Now, we do have Derek out here in the draft with us. That's going to be pretty tough. I saw Derek in a draft this morning while I was at the gym. I mean, I know that y'all probably see me in these drafts very, very often, even off the live stream. So we sent out the link if y'all want to get in our next draft in the live chat. Hayes says, I want to draft with you right now. How do I join? All you do is just come out to the live streams and see when we are entering in contests. And I'll also get private drafts going once we get into the summer. When we're in the summer, then I'm going to be less focused on getting these puppy drafts, less focused on getting these Best Ball Mania drafts underway. And then we will make sure we get some private drafts for y'all. Okay, Gary says, so I decided to add some excitement to my life. I've added Underdog and deposited. Let's go. Thank you, my man. And you're going to be thanking yourself. I promise you that, especially if you get into some of these drafts with us in the live stream. So we see Jonathan Taylor go at the 101. We take Cooper Kupp at the 102. There's not much to it. John says he's in the draft. He is J.K. Ooper. So that's here. J.K. Ooper, 10. He's drafting at the 110. Falony here is at the 111. Derek's at 9. Common Sense is a part of the flock as well. So we have a ton of people from the flock in this draft, all picking around this same range here. Let's see how they go. Let's see if they go and switch anything up compared to what you should come to expect. Derrick Henry goes to the 107. No real surprises here outside of Eckler going before Jamar Chase. Personally, knowing the running backs that are available in round 2, I am almost every single time passing on Austin Eckler for Jamar Chase. Derek here goes, takes Travis Kelce. I have Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews in almost every single league. Like, this season, honestly, is going to come down for me with how much money we're going to make on, can Travis Kelce stay healthy? Can Mark Andrews stay healthy? If they don't, it's going to be tough. We may all of a sudden have to declare bankruptcy. We'll be Michael Scott from The Office declaring bankruptcy if Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews goes down in week 1. Please make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. So let me send out a poll real quick. If you have not done so already, make sure you please go down there and drop a like on the live stream as well. If we get a decent amount of people out here, we'll go and we'll get another draft going after this. Okay, so we sent that poll out. Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams, Najee Harris. No real surprises. I guess maybe taking Devontae Adams over Dalvin Cook is a surprise if you're just looking at ADP. And in reality, I think this is all pretty standard. CeeDee Lamb goes to the 202. I've been taking a lot of CeeDee Lamb as well. I mean, I think we had about 3 drafts this morning that I came away with the combination of CeeDee Lamb and Mark Andrews. And we had Lamar Jackson in one of those drafts fall to us at the 412, which I was ecstatic. I'm sorry, the 512. fell to us at pick 60, and I was ecstatic about that. Okay, so J.K. Ooper took Najee Harris in the first. Let's see where they're going to go in the second round. Scott says, yo, what's up? Did you get a new camera? Stream is looking clean. We got a new camera a couple months ago. Mike Evans here goes to the 203. Let's see where Derek takes this. He goes Deebo Samuel. That's not a surprise. I was honestly kind of assuming that's where he was going to go. So yeah, Mark Andrews, DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara. Remember, just a few weeks ago, Aaron Jones was going in the second round. We came out and said, you will never be able to draft Aaron Jones again. He will be consistently going in the middle of round 2. He was one of the best running back values on the board. I'm still really liking to take these wide receivers. So I'm not necessarily acting like, oh, if Aaron Jones falls here, it's going to be the best pick in the world. I would take Aaron Jones if he fell to the 211. But yeah, Aaron Jones off the board at the 206. He's just going to have an increased role in the red zone. And on top of that, he is also going to be one of the main pass catching options for Aaron Rodgers in this offense without Devontae Adams. It's going to be massive. Okay, so DeAndre Swift goes directly after Alvin Kamara. Everything very standard. Leonard Fournette goes at the 209 by large and in charge. That's a good underdog name. Real quick, if y'all are going to join Underdog Fans, make sure you have a name that I can read. Please choose a name that I can read. Let's go A.J. Brown here. I like taking A.J. Brown, setting us up with the potential Jalen Hurts stack in the 6th round. Usually doesn't make it to the end of the 6th, but we can hope. We can hope and pray. So A.J. Brown at pick 23. Let's see where he goes. Nick Chubb at pick 24. Come on. Actually, I'm fine. If you want to let Javonte fall, if you want to let T. Higgins fall, I'm fine with either guy. You do you. You do you in Smedley. Keenan Allen goes. Okay, so we are going to be taking T. Higgins here. So with this combination of wide receivers, I think we are set up nicely. I really do like coming away with Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews through the first 2 rounds. However, when you're drafting at the 102, I can't reach on Kelce there. I have been reaching on Travis Kelce where Derek does to the 109. I've taken Kelce at the 107, 108 to mix some things up as well. But when you have Cooper Kupp on the board, you take Cooper Kupp. It's not that complicated. And I know a lot of people are probably screaming at me right now going, oh my God, did this idiot just take T. Higgins over Javon? Wait. Just wait. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, you probably think this is ridiculous, but this ain't my first rodeo. We know how this goes, and I promise you we are going to come away with a good draft here today. Just wait until the 10th round, and then you can see those running back values that we are picking up. And if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, go sign up right now. Have some fun this Memorial Day. Have some fun any day, and go sign up with promo code FLOCK and get in a draft with us on the live stream, get in a draft with your friends in the public lobby. And when you sign up and use promo code FLOCK, you'll get our rankings. You'll get my Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide that has over 130 pages. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Just go to the link in the description. Go to the link in the live chat. It supports this channel as well. Santiago says, I got Michael Thomas 23 picks below his ADP this morning. Michael Thomas usually is going at the beginning of the 6th round. So if you're getting Michael Thomas 23 picks below his ADP, you're getting him probably at the beginning of the 8th. I can't imagine what that draft board looks like. Derek goes Kyle Pitts at the 309. Interesting. Let's track Derek's draft here. Baby Stevie is going with a hyper fragile build. Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, James Conner. So this is going to be a team that's probably only going to draft 4 running backs in this entire draft, and they're probably going to try to load up on about 10 wide receivers if they can. Darren Waller goes at the 311. Let's see where DS 900 takes us. He went Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon through the first 2 rounds. Nick says, I always understood fantasy as snagging running backs first. Curious why you always go wide receiver heavy right away. It's simply because if you're looking at this best ball setup, knowing that you're not submitting your starting lineup every single week, and you're looking at the volatility that comes from the wide receiver position, most people are going to try to target their depth on their roster with wide receivers. That way they can have random spike weeks in the fantasy football tournament in their flex spot from different receivers. Essentially, in the middle rounds on Underdog Fantasy, you are going to see wide receivers skyrocket way further than where you would have other drafts. And that's going to allow running back value to be depressed, where earlier this morning, that draft I said I took Mark Andrews, CeeDee Lamb at the 1-2 turn. I got Lamar Jackson at the end of the 5th. You know who I took at the 601? David Montgomery. David Montgomery was sitting there at the 601 because we went with a wide receiver heavy approach first, and you ended up with those wide receivers flying off the board, allowing those running backs to slide, because the secret on Underdog Fantasy is you really can never take too many wide receivers. Whereas running back, there's definitely a limit on how many you can draft. So Michael Pittman goes off at the 406. This is about, I want to say, 9 picks behind his ADP. I think Michael Pittman at the 406, a fine selection. But if you're going Michael Pittman at pick 31, pick 32, I have no idea what you're doing. Justin Herbert at the 407. Okay, so let's pull this up. I have a couple players I'm looking at. So our Parrish takes Terry McLaurin at pick 44. Terry McLaurin would have been a nice snag at the 411. Cam Akers goes at the 409. Come on, give us our guy, Jay Lindsey. Give us our guy. Jay Lindsey went Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, Tyreek Hill through the first 3 rounds. I wanted Kittle. I really wanted Kittle. It is what it is. We'll go Metcalf. Do we go Metcalf or... Yeah, we're going to go Metcalf. Metcalf at pick 47. This team has Jonathan Taylor and Nick Chubb. So I think we will. Yeah, we end up getting David Montgomery in the 5th. Montgomery is one of my most drafted running backs so far. It's because, I mean, if we are looking in this range, like, I am not a massive fan of taking an Allen Robinson over David Montgomery, taking a Gabriel Davis over David. Chris Godwin, I'm a fan of. But let's go Montgomery here as our running back 1, pick 50. A lot of drafts we're getting him at the end of the 5th, but it's just guaranteed touches. So essentially, the reason I'm going wide receiver early is if I had to break down the opportunity cost of passing on to Nick Chubb here and grabbing A.J. Brown instead, like, you answer me this. Maybe your opinion's different, and that's completely fine. I don't want to act like I'm some genius and I know everything. That's clearly not the case. I'm an idiot. But in my monkey brain, I would prefer the combination of A.J. Brown and David Montgomery compared to the combination of Nick Chubb and Courtland Sutton, or Javonte Williams and Courtland Sutton. So that's why I am willing to pass on running backs a little bit earlier, because I'm looking at an environment saying, hell, if we can pass on running backs early and maybe reach on wide receivers just slightly, then we don't have to be the team taking Gabriel Davis over Breece Hall or David Montgomery. We can take that running back value a little bit later on. Okay, so Gabriel Davis goes at the 507 to Baby Stevie. Common Sense goes Juju Smith-Schuster. And what's funny is at the 6-7 turn, we'll be looking at wide receivers of the best available players again. So we are going to probably see A.J. Dillon make it there. Maybe you get Antonio Gibson falling. You'll see Elijah Mitchell as well. See, Derek does something very similar. Derek's in these drafts all the time, and you're seeing Derek pass on these running backs early in favor of the value that you're going to get later on. He goes Brandon Cooks over Josh Jacobs here at the 5-10. Josh Jacobs is another one of these running backs that last year we drafted him a ton at the 5-6 turn. That's where he's going again this season. And I'll be going and drafting Josh Jacobs at the 5-6 turn very often because I'm loading up on wide receivers early. I'm passing on Ezekiel Elliott for Jalen Waddle. I'm passing on Cam Akers for Jalen Waddle, Hollywood Brown, Deontay Johnson. Yeah, I'm going to be loading up on wide receivers early. Not because I think that, oh my God, yes, Jalen Waddle's a way better option than Zeke. But no, it's because I think Josh Jacobs is a much better option than some of the wide receivers going after him. Okay, so Brunel says, is it worth taking DeAndre Swift late in the first round in a PPR format, or is it a bit too early for him? Personally, I am not going to be taking DeAndre Swift there, and I was one of the largest advocates saying draft DeAndre Swift everywhere you can in the 3rd round last year. Like in our $1,000 draft, that's probably our most viewed video on the channel. DeAndre Swift was like the only running back that I had drafted through the first 9 rounds. It was a very different format, but still, I mean, I loved me some DeAndre Swift. And the reason is he can catch every ball out of the backfield and get usage in the red zone, aka every valuable touch in his offense. But into the first, whenever he's going to be capped with his touchdown upside in Detroit, and there's additional target competition compared to what there was last season, probably not going to be taking too much DeAndre Swift. Like, I honestly think DeAndre Swift may be in a slightly worse position this year, like a worse situation this year. and he's going about a round and a half earlier than where he was being selected last season. So I haven't taken a lot of DeAndre Swift, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, so Andrew says the 101 for the 105, 205, and Rondell Moore. Give me the 101. Give me Breece Hall in Dynasty. Okay, Kyle says, what were the results of the $1,000 league? $1,000 league, we crushed it. We actually ended up getting second place despite me being an idiot and not submitting my starting lineup a couple times. It is what it is. But we ended up getting second place in that league. And I want to say we had some run bad as well. Jalen Hurts goes to the 605. That pisses me off. I mean, we wanted to have Jalen Hurts falling. The reason we went with A.J. Brown in the second, the reason we went with T. Higgins in the third is we wanted the potential to get a stack here. We wanted the potential to grab a Jalen Hurts. We wanted the potential to grab a Joe Burrow at the 611. Neither of them make it. It is what it is. We're going to have to move on. Rashad Bateman goes at the 608. Oh, and I really wanted Kittle falling to us as well instead of taking Metcalf. That way we'd have the Lance potential. Okay, let's see what Jay Lindsay decides to do. They have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and George Kittle. I'm so pissed they took Kittle from us. They go Tom Brady at the 610. We're not taking Russ. We're not taking Dak. We don't have any options for those offenses. And I feel like we'd be reaching on them just slightly. Hell, we'll let other teams in this league go for them. So we're going to go ahead and take Elijah Moore here. I will explain myself fully in just one second, but Elijah Moore is going to be our wide receiver 5 in this league. So we're going a little bit overboard here. We're going a little bit overboard. Stewart says he got the double stack. I'm assuming he's referring to who are you referring to? Okay, so you had Godwin and I don't know who you're talking about. Russell Wilson goes to the 701. Dear God. Yeah, so here, the reason we went ahead and we took Elijah Moore is because this team had 3 running backs. They had Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Breece Hall, so they couldn't take A.J. Dillon. So now we're going to get A.J. Dillon as our running back 2 here in the 7th round. So we're loaded up a receiver, and we have some decent running backs, but this is a bad team overall. I honestly don't even think we have done anything wrong. I think it's just we got boxed out of quarterback. Whenever I was sitting here and evaluating if we should have taken DK Metcalf in the 4th, I know I was trying to make it seem like we were thinking about taking Breece Hall and David Montgomery. I wasn't thinking about that. What I was thinking about was instead of taking Metcalf, going Lamar Jackson and not really caring if we got the Lamar Jackson stack. Now, it's painful looking back because I think that would have been the right call. I don't care about getting a stack with Lamar Jackson because of his rushing upside. We decided to pass because we had the options. We could get Stafford. We could have gotten Jalen Hurts. We could have gotten Joe Burrow. So we'll see if any of those other players make it back to us. Obviously, we're hoping so. I mean, a lot of these other teams already have their quarterbacks. But we will see. We will see. Okay, so Sky Moore goes to the 709. So Derek continuing to load up with wide receivers. TJ Hawkinson goes to the 710. Top Dog says, agreed, not a DeAndre Swift fan either. I mean, I love the talent with DeAndre Swift, and I was drafting him a lot last year. I just feel like there's no reason to be paying a higher price on DeAndre Swift this season than we were last year. Like, what has changed for the better in DeAndre Swift's situation? Maybe you make the argument that the offense is going to be better if Jameson Williams can take the top off it. But I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch. So Miles Sanders goes to the 712. I don't even know what we want to see right now. Thomas says, is it good to have multiple stacks in a best ball format? Example, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Stafford and Cup. 100%. That's what you're going for. Like earlier yesterday, this wasn't on a live stream, but I actually came away with a stack of Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And then we also got Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans. And if you're wondering how we got that combination, yes, we reached on Kelce. Yes, we took Kelce at like the 107, but I really like reaching on Kelce and building some of those unique teams. Okay, Cordell Patterson goes to the 802. I've taken Cordell Patterson in a decent amount of these drafts, but a lot of times I'm taking Cordell Patterson in the 8th round where I have an elite quarterback, I have an elite tight end, and I have like 4 wide receivers, and I need a running back 1 to give us some guaranteed touches. So I am fine passing Cordell Patterson if he's going to be like a running back 3, but if you're in the 8th round and you went 0 RB, Cordell Patterson and almost that guaranteed volume is hard to pass up on. Okay, so Tony Pollard goes at the 805. So running backs are getting soaked up in this draft here. Baby Stevie is on the clock. He has 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a quarterback. Okay, we have some options. Dallas Goedert goes. That was one of our options. Okay, that is not good. Not good. Okay, so Shup here, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and 3 receivers. There are 3 wide receivers. Can't see on the screen. Jamar Chase, Mike Williams, and DeAndre Hopkins. They go Tyler Lockett at pick 91. Hunter Renfrow is falling a decent ways here. Parrish is up. Allen, Lamar, quarterback. Running back, Eckler, Kamara. Wide receiver, McLaurin, Bateman, and Devonta Smith. Okay, let's see what he does. He's not on auto, is he? He could be. All his players have been taken behind ADP. I think he may be on auto draft. Okay, thank God we realized he's on auto draft because that is going to change some strategy here. So we have Matthew Stafford going at the 809. That team only had one. That team had no quarterbacks. They had Cam Akers as well. It makes sense to take Stafford there. Okay, so I think we have an easy call. We are going to have to go with Trey Lance. I've taken Trey Lance in a decent amount of these drafts. Of course. Of course. You know I love me some Trey Lance, and I really try to get our quarterbacks stacked up. That's why I really wanted to target George Kittle at the end of the 4th round. But hell, in some drafts, it's just not going to work out for you. So we will take Trey Lance here at the 811. And Trey Lance is one of the players that I'm actually fine taking without a stack because if you're drafting Lance, the majority of this production should come from what he does as a rusher rather than the pure passing volume. So you can take Lance and he can hit from a fantasy football perspective without Deebo Samuel, without Brandon Ayuk being fantastic options. That's why I'm really excited about taking Lance. Okay, so here, Hunt is one of my favorite draft targets, but I feel like we may have to go with our second quarterback. Lance is a week 9 bye. We are probably going to take Rodgers. Now, the reason for this is if we take Rodgers, we're done at quarterback, and we need to save 3 spots for tight end. And it doesn't matter if we take Dawson Knox here. I feel like we still have to take 3 tight ends regardless for our roster construction. And if we pass on this Aaron Rodgers tier, we are going to have to go ahead and we are going to have to draft 3 QBs as well, which would be detrimental to the upside of this offense. I really am trying to get away with only drafting 2 quarterbacks and only drafting 2 tight ends in every single one of these. And if you have to draft 3 of both, you're almost done for. You're almost done for. Okay, so let's make that selection here. Rodgers goes at the 902. Kareem Hunt at the 903. Dawson Knox goes at the 905. Let's pop this up. Okay, what are we looking? And one thing that I will point out, and this is something, I didn't want to say it out loud because I really don't want people to keep drafting quarterbacks, but I did take note of the Josh Allen team also taking Lamar Jackson and the Justin Herbert team also taking Joe Burrow. So I think that is inherently going to push quarterback value up because usually if a team gets Josh Allen, then they only have to draft 1 more quarterback. And if a team gets Lamar Jackson, they only have to draft 1 more quarterback. But those quarterbacks are usually the Tua Tagovailoa range. That's usually the Derek Carr range. So when they take 2 elite options, now there are going to be more teams in this draft that have to draft 3 QBs. That's going to be raising the prices on those quarterbacks. So maybe we made the wrong decision taking Rodgers at the 902. I personally don't think so. I think we just did just fine. Steven says, FYI, Mason, I'm up to 60 puppies now. I think I am closing in on 50 puppies, and I think I've had about 40 Best Ball Manias. Or maybe I'm making those numbers. Or maybe it's like 40 and 40. I'm closing in on like 80 total drafts. Jake says, I was in a draft with you today on Underdog. I'm assuming this morning you said I did better than you. LOL. We'll see about that, my friend. We will see about that. Okay, so Derek Carr goes at the 910. Gallup at the 911. So at this point, obviously, we want quarterbacks to go off the board at this point whenever we have Lance and Rodgers, because we're done. We want quarterbacks to go. We need tight ends to fall. We're actually, I don't want to say we need tight ends to fall because we've already locked ourselves into drafting 3 of these guys. Deshaun Watson goes to the 902. And Watson, I am more comfortable taking as a second quarterback and leaving it at that and not going for a third whenever you have a quarterback that has a late bye. Because if you think Watson's going to get suspended 8 weeks, however, if you drafted a quarterback as your QB1 and his bye weeks, week 13, week 12, week 11, hell, I'm fine taking Deshaun Watson as that second guy and really just praying that our starting quarterback makes it and produces as a top 5 option on a consistent basis through the first 10 weeks. And then we could be potentially one of the few Deshaun Watson teams that specifically don't have 3 quarterbacks, but instead only have 2 that make it to that tournament setting. Okay, Kadarius Toney goes at the 1002. Let's pull this up. Okay, best tight ends available if we are needing tight ends. Zach Ertz and Pat Frymuth. J.K. Ooper on the clock. Okay, so you have had Allen Lazard fall a decent ways. I mean, I would want to get excited saying, oh my God, are we going to get Allen Lazard on our Aaron Rodgers team? But there's 6 picks between us. You'd imagine 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4 wide receivers. Actually, I guess they have a decent amount of receiver help, but I'd imagine you do have Allen Lazard off the board by the time we are back on. So Robert Woods goes at pick 113. Tyler Boyd at the 1006. Okay, so wide receivers are flying here. Okay, they both have 2 quarterbacks, so there's no way they end up going with Kirk Cousins. This team took Jefferson, and they only have Matt Stafford. So you could end up seeing Large in charge go with Cousins. Yeah, because there are, 4 picks between theirs? Yeah, they go Cousins. We were one to... Is it actually going to happen? There's no way. I think Jay Lindsey's part of it. I think they're probably watching the live stream. Let's see. They go Penny. This is a Memorial Day treat. A present falling in our laps. I thought we weren't going to be able to get any stacks here, but somehow we get lucky. Let me know in the chat if something happened to Allen Lazard and I'm an idiot. I'm taking him at pick 119 when his ADP is 99 to stack up with our guy Rodgers as our wide receiver 6. James Cook goes here. Okay, so you have in Smeldies with 5 running backs already. So they're done drafting RB. They can't draft another one in reality. Do we want Ramondre Stevenson or Alexander Madison? We have Ramondre Stevenson as one of our most drafted running backs so far. We could also... Yeah, no, we're going to go Alexander Madison. With Madison, I am fine taking him as our running back 3 here because A.J. Dillon and Montgomery will have a weekly role to give us that weekly floor. And obviously, you're drafting Alexander Madison just as the what-if case on hell. What happens if Dalvin Cook does go down? All of a sudden, Alexander Madison is a top 5 running back, and you can project that to happen as well. So we'll take Madison here for the elite ceiling that he can possess, specifically at the very end of the season. I also thought about taking Robert Tonyan. Probably should have. Seeing these tight ends go right after, but I was looking at the ADPs saying, oh, okay, well, looks like we're the only team left without a tight end, so possibly can they fall back? Clearly, it doesn't happen, so that was pretty ridiculous. We should have gone Robert Tonyan. If we could get back in a time machine, we would have gone Robert Tonyan, but it is what it is. Okay, so Baby Stevie goes Kenny Golladay as the falling player in this draft at the 1107. Okay, Common Sense 23 on the clock. I think that they are a part of the flock. Okay, Ramondre Stevenson, Ronald Jones at the 1108 and the 1109. Okay, real quick, we are about to pass 100 likes on the live stream. Thank you so much for everybody who's gone down there and dropped a like on the stream. I truly do appreciate it. Jarvis Landry at the 1110. Okay, I am just spazzing right now. What do we want? Yeah, knowing that we are going to get Michael Carter, knowing that Isaiah Spiller, Naheem Hines, one of these players could potentially make it back to us with our next selection. Passing on Robert Tonyan there was horrible. It was inexcusable, especially when we have Rodgers. Steven coming out says, thanks for spending time with us on Memorial Day. No, thank you so much, my man, for supporting the channel. No, thank you for coming out to the live stream. I hope everybody was able to spend time with their families. I hope everybody has had a great day up until this point. And I'm not going to lie, I was planning on live streaming tonight, but it gets to 4 p.m. and I just want to do it. Like, I probably drafted 6-7 teams this morning. I have an issue. Jacoby Myers goes at the 12:01. There are not too many wide receivers left available in this range, which is fine for us. We don't need wide receivers. We have Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Elijah Moore, and Alan Lazard. And what we need is tight end. We have Irv Smith Jr., Cole Kmet, potentially, just possibly making it to us. A lot of these teams already have 2. Every team has 1 in this range. So there's a decent chance we end up getting them to fall. What was the team that was auto drafting? I think this is our Parish. Our Parish was on auto. Who did they know? Because they go McCole Hardman, pick 125 as their last pick. I think they are back to their phone, back to their computer, whatever it may be. Because here with McCole Hardman, he wouldn't have been best available. I think Kenny Golladay was best available. Okay, so common sense up. Probably goes Tua. Yeah, he went Tua here at the 12:05. He had Jalen Waddle, and he only had 1 quarterback as well. So we are kind of seeing quarterbacks get pushed up, and this is what happened whenever. Let me remind everyone why we were seeing quarterbacks get pushed up. You had the Josh Allen team also taking Lamar Jackson. You had the Justin Herbert team also taking Joe Burrow, kind of monopolizing the positions. Okay, you have Parrish. Okay, Irv Smith Jr. goes right before us. That does suck. So we are going to have to, quote-unquote, reach here to get Cole Kmet. Oh, Michael Carter goes as well. I was really hoping we were going to get Michael Carter making it to us. We're going to reach to get Cole Kmet. It is what it is, but the team picking between us only has 1 tight end, so they could easily take a second here. Take Cole Kmet, pick 143. And I think... Okay. The gears are turning. The gears are turning. I have an idea. Okay. See where in Smeldy's it goes. They can't go running back. They have 5. They only have 4 receivers. They go DJ Chark. Was that? Okay, no. That was ADP of 149. They take him pick 144. So they are not on auto. But they did take it all the way down to the last second. Maybe they set up a large queue and then bounce from the draft. Jamison Crowder here is not too interesting for me when we already have 6 wide receivers and we have massive holes at running back and tight end. I don't want to say we have massive holes at running back. We have guaranteed touches at RB. But what I'm thinking about here is while I would really like to reach on David Njoku with pick 146, since we have already locked ourselves into having to draft 3 of these tight ends, I am going to try to fix our running back position with only having to take 5 of these guys. And if we are only going to take 5, we really need to make sure that we are getting a running back with a role coming in. So we are going to take Darrell Henderson as our running back 4 here. So I understand we need tight end more than we need running back, but if we pass on running backs in this range, we may have to take 6. And that would cap us at 7 wide receivers. And I don't want to be capped at 7 wide receivers, even if we have a great wide receiver core. Okay, Dylan says, my girlfriend ended up leaving, so now it's time for full fantasy football mode. She couldn't handle the grind. My man, if your girlfriend like got a bus ticket or something to bounce, to leave, to pack her bags, my girlfriend's probably looking for a buy one, get one free. She's probably looking to get on that same bus to leave me. So if you could DM her on Instagram, if you can message her, just say, hey, this is how you leave Mason. This is the bus to get on. It will take you far away. She'll probably happily jump on that bus as well, because I can tell you, imagine me working on fantasy football like 60 hours a week in May and having to try to explain that to my girlfriend. Okay, so I am DJ says, can we get a puppy for the next draft? We have almost 250 people out here. if we get 150 likes in this live stream, we'll get another draft going after this one, and we will get a puppy draft. 150 likes, we'll get a puppy draft going after this. You have Tyler Higbee, David Njoku going at the 1305, 1307. Sucks for us. Obviously, we wanted these tight ends to make it back, but there's no way in hell. There's no way. I mean, we weren't passing on these tight ends, hoping and trying to convince ourselves that we could, maybe get David Njoku at pick 160. It was never happening. It was never happening. Okay, so David Bell goes to the 1308. Derek on the clock. Let's check out Derek's team. So far, I hate drafting with Derek. He took Kelsey in the first, Kyle Pitts in the third, Debo, Amari, Brandon Cooks, Drake London, Sky Moore at wide receiver, running back, Walker, Melvin Gordon, Ronald Jones, quarterback, Justin Fields. So I'm assuming he's going to go ahead and take 3 quarterbacks. And I bet he can probably stop at 5 RBs if he wants. Just interested how the roster construction is going to shake out. Okay, so Zach Wilson goes at the 1310. James Robinson at the 1311. Let's pull this up. Okay, we could end up having some running backs make it to us as well. Hunter Henry goes pick 156. He was never making it. So if we were to get like a Tyler Algier, if we were going to get a Kenneth Gainwell, I guess, honestly, we could even get Khalil Herbert, Tyrion Davis-Price. Maybe we go, okay, well, we can get some correlation with Tyrion Davis-Price, Trey Lance. Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't work like that. I wish I could try to sell it. But how many rounds do we have left? We have 4. Okay, 4 rounds left. 4 rounds left. Robbie Anderson at the 1401. This is ahead of his ADP, isn't it? I thought Robbie Anderson goes a lot later than this. Oh, yeah. Robbie Anderson, ADP 173, pick 157. I was wondering, I was like, okay, I'm usually not used to seeing Robbie Anderson go in the James Robinson, Hunter Henry, Alec Pierce range. Derek says, I got boxed out at quarterback. Lance and Watson were my targets. Oh, well. Now Fields to stack the Lions game with Goff and third quarterback, hopefully. Okay. I mean, I need to get better about that. I really do need to dive into those week 17 matchups. I know like 5 of them, and reality, don't target them nearly enough. Like, if you're drafting in these underdog drafts, there's a strong argument to be made, especially in Best Ball Mania and the Puppy, where keep in mind, it's a $5 buy-in, and if you make the fantasy football playoffs by getting first or second place in your league, and then you make it through the first 2 rounds of the tournament, and then you're that final, like, massive DFS week, essentially, there's a very strong argument to be made that you need to start stacking games in week 17, and you need to be doing that now. I've not done a good job with this, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, you know what we could have done? Instead of taking A.J. Brown in the second, we could have gone T. Higgins, and we could have got Josh Allen in the third. Okay, so Trevor Lawrence pick 165. That clearly helps us out. We need these quarterbacks off. Jay Lindsey only has 1 QB. Okay, and Smeldy also only has 1 quarterback. So I'd imagine we actually get some quarterbacks going off the board here. Let's see what they do. They have 2 tight ends. They have Kittle and Gronk. They can't go with another tight end. We're going to get Noah Fant with this pick. They go Wan'Dale. I'm very surprised they went Wan'Dale Robinson instead of a quarterback. But let's go David Njoku as our second tight end. Horrible situation. A very, very bad situation. But hell, we're drafting 3 of these guys. So it is what it is. So the question is, do we take Tyrion Davis-Price here and then get a tight end later on, or do we just take Gerald Everett? We'll just take Gerald Everett. The running backs later on, I'm kind of fine with. We'll get Gerald Everett as our third tight end. Not really ever trying to draft 3 tight ends, but hell, this is what happens when you don't get Kittle in the 4th or Waller in the 4th. Sometimes Waller makes it to the end of the 4th round. Daniel Jones goes at the 1503. So they made the right call. They were able to get the stack with Wan'Dale Robinson and Daniel Jones there at the 14-15 turn. KJ Hamler at the 1504. And real quick, 20 more likes, and we will go get another draft after this one. We will get another draft after this one. 20 more likes on the live stream. Joshua Palmer at the 1506. Okay, let's figure this out. Okay, we have a run on wide receivers happening here. That is good for us. Obviously, we're going to draft another receiver, but we're not dying for one. I mean, we can just get someone like Tyquan Thornton. That's not being drafted in any draft. We can get him in the 18th round, and we're fine with it. I guess, actually, do we need 2 more receivers? How many running backs do we have? We have 4. Okay, yeah, so we're taking 2 more receivers, actually. We're getting 1 more running back and 2 more wide receivers. Okay, Donovan Peoples-Jones at the 15-10. Logan Thomas at the 15-11. We also want to see these tight ends off the board now that we have our 3. We have our 3 and we're set. Raheem Mostert goes, okay, I'm never drafting Mostert. I don't care what the value is. And something that I need to figure out is like the same players fall in every draft that I'm in. Like Gus Edwards is always 100% of the time the best running back in this range according to ADP. I don't know how it's possible because I never see anybody ever take Gus Edwards above his ADP. Like, I don't know how it's 166. And if I go through and I think about it as well, it's not like Gus Edwards has a great range of outcomes. It's nice that he has a role immediately in Baltimore. That's nice. But if J.K. Dobbins goes down, he's never going to catch passes. Like, his ceiling is capped. So, like, I have been reaching on running backs over Gus Edwards that is going behind him according to ADP. Guys like Tyrion Davis-Price would be the perfect example. I'm taking Tyrion Davis-Price a ton over Gus Edwards. And I will say, if Gus Edwards makes it to us at pick 191, I'll take him. But there are a couple of these running backs, like Dameon Pierce is another example, that he's always sitting there for like a round after his ADP. Okay, so our wide receiver room is a little, I guess we have Kupp, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Elijah Moore. Outlands are like, we're fine at receiver. Like, it looks thin because we've only drafted 6 of them, but they are great. Okay. Devin Duvernay goes to the 1608. Large and in charge. They only have 3. I guess they went with a hyper fragile build. They have Leonard Fournette, Saquon Barkley, and Cam Akers. I'm assuming they're only going to grab 1 more RB, or maybe they grab 2. Yeah, because they have the 17th, 18th round picks. Okay, that's fine. Marvin Jones goes, all these wide receivers are the same. I guess we take Gus Edwards. I hope nothing happened. I don't know why he always falls so far according to his ADP. But if we're only drafting 5 RBs, I am going to want someone that's getting touches on a week-to-week basis. So we'll take him as our 5th running back. And then we're going to probably grab 2 receivers from here. Unless, if we think about it as well, we could potentially get one of these RBs making our flex spots. How long did we wait on RB? We have 2 players selected in the top 100. We went so heavy with receiver. And the running back value, getting Jamal Williams versus Kendrick Bourne, Jamal Williams versus Julio, like, who's really going to be making an impact here? So generally, if I take someone like David Montgomery in the 5th, I'm probably stopping at 5 running backs. F it. Especially if I have 3 tight ends. Like, I always want 8 wide receivers with these teams. I 100% of the time want 8 wide receivers. But real quick, we passed 500 likes. You know what? I'll show this draft board off. Then we're going to go hop into another draft. I will just set my queue here with a bunch of wide receivers that I wouldn't mind making it back to us. Specifically, maybe some guys from Green Bay, maybe some guys from San Francisco. Not going to show the exact queue, though, because I don't want people to just take those players. And don't join a draft just yet. I will show y'all when we are joining if y'all want to get in with us. So let me go and click some of these wide receivers just in our queue. Okay, we have that set up. We have it set up with like 10 players, so we should be good. And let's get into a new draft. Let me know if y'all want to do a puppy draft or Best Ball Mania. We'll just go ahead and do a puppy. We're going to go ahead and do a puppy draft. So on Underdog Fantasy, go over here. This is going to be the $5 buy-in, $75,000 to first. Obviously, get paid if you get first or second place in your league, but a small percentage of every league pot is set aside for that massive tournament at the very end of the season. Let's go through, enter in the $5 contest. And there were 3 spots available. They got filled quickly. Let's see how many people a part of the flock that we are in this draft with. Okay, so Girthquake, we are in here with Noah. Noah, happy to see you out here. Derek made it in as well. DS 90 was out in the last draft. I'm unsure if he's a part of the flock in the live stream or if he's just hanging out here. Amy's is selecting next to us at the 112. Please, I think we've seen Red Sea cards out here as well. I don't know if we just randomly saw them in another draft or if they are part of the flock, but please let me know. Okay. Jay Wall says Bateman or Darnell Mooney in Dynasty. Honestly, it's up to you. They're in the same tier. I'm not going to really get mad at anybody for going one way or another. NRG Fantasy Focus says, if you draft tonight, I'm ready to start the grind, Mason. I had a great best ball year last year and even got second in the $100 league I did with you. Thank you, my man, for coming out. I have not seen you in quite a while and probably not going to draft super late tonight. I will get better about hosting these live streams at night so more people can hop in. But it was Memorial Day, so I was like, you know what? Let's not wait until tonight. Let's start this early, and we can potentially get maybe like 3 or 4 drafts going. But we'll see. We'll see. William says he is in this draft. William, let me know what your name is on Underdog Fantasy, please. Mr. Insomniac says first time was a rando. Drew says finally able to catch the live stream. Love the content, man. No, thank you, my man, for coming out to the stream. I hope you can get in a draft with us as well. Okay, so we have Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp going off the board. Top 3 picks. Nothing out of the ordinary just yet. I'm assuming we get Jefferson, Chase, and then at the 106, I'll call... feeling like this is an Eckler draft. William says he is Death from Zesty. Okay, so he is at the 103. He just got Cooper Kupp. That's where we were in the last draft. Okay, so Derek does go Jamar Chase as we were expecting. Carlito Bills is here at the 106. Najee Harris. Okay, so I was way off. I was way off with my feelings. Not an Austin Eckler draft. Instead, a Najee Harris draft. Okay, JT831. Derrick Henry. Stephon Diggs already off. Okay, so looks like... oh, I don't want to say exactly what we're doing. Kelsey goes to the 109. That was my initial plan. Eckler goes to the 110. Okay, we're getting our guy. We're getting Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, one of my most drafted players so far this season. It's an embarrassing amount of Mark Andrews across my entire portfolio, where if Andrews goes down, like legitimately, if Mark Andrews goes down this season, week 1, I'm losing money. Like, there's no way. And I know that's probably not how you should be playing. You should probably be diversifying a little bit more. I probably shouldn't be reaching on Mark Andrews at the end of the first round. I'm going to do me. Okay, I'm going to do me. Okay, so now, yeah, I'm always going receiver here. We're going to go ahead and take Devontae Adams. I'm usually getting CeeDee Lamb falling to us, but I shouldn't complain. I mean, Devontae Adams will have the stack potential later on with Derek Carr. I prefer the Dak Prescott value over Derek Carr, so usually I'm kind of fine with where our teams sit if we instead go with CeeDee Lamb in the second, but it is what it is. We'll be able to set ourselves up with some stacks later on as well. Williams says, got Mark Andrews in the 211 in a draft. I am jealous with that, my man, but let me flex on you. Earlier today, I got Justin Jefferson and Mark Andrews on the same team. It was like I was still sleeping. It was like I was dreaming. It was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. But real quick, if you have not done so already, we have to say this every draft. Please go down there to the link in the live stream, the link in the description. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Go get in one of these drafts with us. Go sign up and use promo code FLOCK. And when you do so, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. You will get our 2022 rankings, our dynasty rankings, our rookie rankings, our dynasty rookie draft. Most importantly, you will have some fun. I'm having too much fun doing this every single day, but we are doing this every day because of how much fun it is. And you see almost the same people out here every single day because, hell, it's hard to stop once you start. I will definitely say that. Now, Leonard Fournette goes at the 208. So Derek mixing it up here, going with Fournette. I don't think we've seen Derek do that yet. Interesting. Let's see how he navigates after this? Okay, so Nick Chubb goes at the 210. I guess it is really weird to see James Conner at the 209. To pair up James Conner and Justin Jefferson, I don't really get the point either because that isn't really a unique build. You are going to see a lot of teams take James Conner just in the third round instead. So maybe they plan on reaching for someone else in the third round that usually goes around James Conner so they can get a unique build that way. I'm unsure. Okay, AJ Brown goes to the 301. And also keep in mind, you do have to think, like, if you see someone reach on a player, you can't immediately go, okay, that's stupid. Why would they ever do that? Because there is a strategy behind trying to create unique builds that not too many other people are going to have. That way, if you end up making it to that fantasy football tournament at the very end of the season and you have a unique build, not too many people can try to go through and copy that. Like, say, if instead of taking Jonathan Taylor at the 101, you have a very standard start. You know Jonathan Taylor always goes to the 101, 102, and you always have A.J. Brown, T. Higgins going at the 2-3 turn. Instead of taking Jonathan Taylor at the 101, possibly instead you go Travis Kelce there. And you go Kelce, and then all of a sudden you're one of the only teams in the tournament that has the combination of Travis Kelce and two of those players that were going at the 2-3 turn, having Travis Kelce and then A.J. Brown and T. Higgins. While it sounds very dumb on paper, like it sounds very dumb if you think about it, while you're lowering your median projection, you are getting some expected value based on the uniqueness of your team. Okay. So DS99 up. They have Derrick Henry, Mike Evans. They have a couple players falling. They go Josh Allen at the 308, pick 32. Okay, so this team has Dalvin Cook, Mark Andrews. They go Patrick Mahomes. Let's see what happens here. This team has Eckler and Aaron Jones. They go DJ Moore. We are going to get Saquon Barkley at the 311. Pick 35, ADP at 26. Like going and talking about creating unique teams. When Devontae Adams almost exclusively goes to the 1-2 turn, and then we are getting Saquon Barkley, who almost exclusively goes at the 2-3 turn, that is going to be a unique combination. So, okay, I'm excited about this. I'm excited. Okay. My most drafted player on Underdog, Jalen Waddle. I'm worried about Tua. I am worried that Tua is going to burn us on this one. But Jalen Waddle is such a special wide receiver. To see Michael Pittman consistently going way before. I'm like, let me pull this up real quick. I said this in a live stream, but I was looking at the RotoViz screener earlier when I was trying to figure out where to rank Jalen Waddle for our 2022 draft guide. And I was just trying to put into context how good Jalen Waddle was his rookie season. Remember, this is a wide receiver that had 100 receptions his rookie year, but it's unfair to go through and use season totals because Jalen Waddle pretty much played all the games. It was a 17-game season, so I didn't want to look at season totals to try to figure out how impressive his season actually was. So instead, we looked at per game numbers. And Jalen Waddle, if you go through and if you look at the fact that he had 7.7 targets a game, he had about 64 receiving yards a game. If you look at wide receivers, their rookie season over the past 20 years that were able to have that combination of targets and receiving yards their rookie season, Odell Beckham Jr., Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Julio Jones, AJ Green, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, and Jalen Waddle. I am worried about the crappy quarterback play. I am slightly concerned about the added target competition. But at the end of the day, he was the wide receiver 13 last year on a points per game basis, and we are now getting him. He's going into year 2. His rookie season, he was the wide receiver 13 with Tua Tagovailoa. Now we got him as wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. He was a low-end wide receiver 1 his rookie season. Now we're getting him as a mid-wide receiver 2. I am worried about the quarterback play, but at the end of the day, dear God, I feel like he has to be a value, right? He has to be a value. Okay, so George Kittle makes his way all the way to the 412. Oh, I would have loved to see that in the last draft. I would have loved to add George Kittle making it to us just at the 410, but it looks like this draft may be passing on tight end a little bit here because we did have Kyle Pitts falling to the 312. You had Darren Waller falling to pick 44 and Kittle falling to pick 48, all behind their ADP. Okay, so Lamar Jackson goes at the 501. And obviously there are a few reasons for Jalen Waddle being depressed, but I will point out with Tyreek Hill, this is a wide receiver that has never seen a target share over 25%. He's not Devontae Adams. It's not like Tyreek Hill comes in here and soaks up every single target. Tyreek Hill wins with efficiency rather than volume. It's not great. I will admit that. Of course, you don't get excited to see the fact that Tyreek Hill is playing alongside him, but it's not as bad as people want to make it out to seem. Okay. So Kyler Murray goes at the 504, Lamar Jackson at the 501. It would have been beautiful to get Lamar Jackson at the 511, but you can't expect that. I mean, very rarely would that ever happen. Okay, so let's spin this back around. Courtland Sutton falling a little bit here. Courtland Sutton, ADP of 47. Don't make me do it, please. I want to be able to say that I've never drafted Courtland Sutton this season. I want to be able to say that. Someone take Courtland Sutton before he gets to me. Montgomery goes to pick 55. Someone take Courtland Sutton. Someone take Courtland Sutton, please. Sutton's off. Whew. Close one. Close call there. Because if he would have fell, I think we would have had to draft him. I don't think we would have had a choice. Okay. So J.K. Dobbins goes pick 59. A lot of these players are honestly in the same range for me. Because we didn't get CeeDee Lamb in the second round and instead we had Devontae Adams, I'm not going to feel as comfortable with our stacking options later on. For that reason, I'm going to take a quarterback here that I am fine not stacking, given the fact that you're betting on the rushing production rather than the passing volume in the offense. So we're going to reach on Jalen Hurts, take him here at the 511. This way we can accomplish the 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 quarterback, 6 running back, 8 wide receiver, 2 tight end build. Let's see where Amy's goes. Travis Etienne to pair up with Joe Mixon at the running back position. I think we played this perfectly. Yeah, Darnell Mooney at the 601. I want to take Michael Thomas, ADP, wide receiver 31. Bateman, wide receiver 28. I guess we have Andrews. We can make the argument, oh, we're getting the correlation in with Baltimore, yada, yada, yada. It's hard for me to do that. You know what? I don't freaking care. I'm going to go with the guy that I think has league-breaking upside. I mean, with Michael Thomas here, he has so many red flags. I mean, we don't even know if he wants to play football since he got that massive contract. But what we do know with Michael Thomas is we have before seen him as a league-winning wide receiver in 2019. The last season he was healthy, Michael Thomas was a league-winning wide receiver. And we are right now playing in a fantasy football draft where it's a $5 buy-in in $75,000 to first. Yeah, we want to get first place in this league. We want to get second place in this league so we can get our money back plus a little bit more. But no, I'm really trying to get to that tournament. I'm drafting 150 of these. I'm trying to get to that tournament and have access to an elite level ceiling. Michael Thomas has that in the range of outcomes. Now, the probability he gets there, that's up for debate. And I'd love to know your opinion on that. But you can't deny the fact that he could be a true league winner, and we don't know that about someone like Rashad Bateman. Okay, So real quick, we have over 300 people in this live stream. Looks like we'll probably get another draft going after this one. Please go down there, drop a like on the live stream if you have not done so already. I truly do appreciate y'all. And of course, if you want to go get in our next draft, go to the link in the live stream description, live chat, whatever it may be. Go sign up to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK to have some fun in your life. And on top of that, not only are you going to have a ton of fun, but they'll match your deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. And you'll be able to get into drafts with us on the live stream, drafts in the public lobby, drafts with your friends. Just have some fun. Come on. Okay, so you have Derek coming out, taking Joe Burrow, flexing on us that he got the Cincinnati stack. Not only did he get the Cincinnati stack, but at the same time, he got Gabriel Davis in the 5th for that week 17 matchup. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, really, the skill here is not necessarily getting Joe Burrow in the 6th or Gabriel Davis in the 5th or Jamar Chase at the 105. Somehow seeing T. Higgins fall to pick 29. Dear God. And you also at the same time are looking at a team that has the elite tight end in Darren Waller. So if they want, they're probably only going to have to take 2. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Elijah Mitchell at the 701, Tom Brady at the 702. Okay, so let's check out what Noah has done so far. I don't think Girthquake has gotten into draft with us in quite a while. Here he goes, CMC at the 102. Then also in his running back backfield, he has Javonte Williams, Breece Hall. At wide receiver, he has Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Treylon Burks, and he gets the elite quarterback here in Tom Brady to stack with Chris Godwin. So it is sad that we don't have any stacks. I mean, we don't even have Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith never going to make it back here at the end of the 5th. But you kind of see the Lamar Jackson team doing the same thing that we are, saying, hell, I don't care as much about getting a stack with those rushing quarterbacks in particular. That's why we took Lance without a stack in the last draft. So we'll see what falls. We'll see what falls. I know we reached on Jalen Hurts, but it is kind of whatever. Hawkinson goes at pick 76. I'm fine with Hawkinson going. We have Mark Andrews. Kind of want to see these tight ends off the board. A.J. Dillon goes to Derek. It is going to be painful. Okay, Russell Wilson goes at the 708. I was going to say it was going to be painful if Russell Wilson ended up making it back to us, but we don't have to think about that right now. Instead, we can just continue to hammer in value. Miles Sanders goes at the 707. Okay, these teams here, I guess DS99 doesn't have a tight end, but there are no tight ends in this range unless they want to reach on Goddard. Just Manage Better has Kelsey and Mahomes, so they're done at quarterback, tight end for quite a while. Adam Thielen goes, this team does not have a QB yet or a tight end. Let's see what ends up happening. I don't know if they're part of the flock. That's why I'm trying not to say what I want to happen. They go Hunter Renfrow. I guess people in this draft just hate New York. Letting Saquon Barkley fall to pick 35. Elijah Moore with an ADP of 98, getting him a pick 83. Yes, please. I'll happily go through and take that. And if we continue to draft wide receivers in this range, we will end up having to draft 6 RBs, but hell, I'm fine with it. We are only going to have to draft 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. Clyde Rozier goes to the 712, so yeah, we are probably going to take a receiver here. Amy's does not have a QB yet. Let's see if they decide to go with Stafford. Okay, Lance seems like he's sliding up ADP. We are going to take Ayuk here and really hope that somehow, some way, we end up getting Trey Lance making it back to us. Lance has fallen this far before. He has. We'll see if it happens in this draft, but we're going to continue to slam these wide receivers. We're going to build around that hero running back build with Saquon Barkley, but we are going to have to backfill it with a ton of depth. We are going to have to go through, and we are going to have to take 6 RBs here. Russell Gage goes at the 803. DeAndre says, happy holidays, vlog. No, thank you, my man, for coming out. Happy to see you in the chat. We have Affiliated coming out as well. I've not seen him in a while. Says, I think Thomas is done. He's too busy playing games. He's too busy playing games besides the one that pays him. Not worth the stress. I completely understand that there is... Okay, Trey Lance goes. I wish we would have got Trey Lance. That sucks. But he goes to the Justin Herbert team. I'm interested to know why that team, they have Debo, but still. You still have Stafford on the board. All these teams back here have quarterbacks. I'm interested to know why they went Trey Lance at the 806 instead of going with someone like Robert Woods and hoping that Trey Lance just made it back to you. Brady says, tell me why I'm not getting notified till an hour after the live stream starts. I am sorry that happened, my man. I'm assuming you have the bell hit next to the subscribe button. I have no idea why that would happen. I apologize, though. Okay, so Kenneth Walker, Cordell Patterson finally going off the board. DeAndre says, puppy draft right, or is this a big dog? Yes, this is a puppy draft. The big dog drafts, those are the $250 drafts. We'll get those going closer to the season. I probably wouldn't want to do one now, but we are practicing. I'm hoping to get like all 150 of these puppy drafts in. I'm hoping to get like 150 best ball drafts in on Best Ball Mania as well. That way we could feel very comfortable for those big dog drafts, but I don't think those are happening anytime soon. Mindless Gamer coming out says, do you guys have a promo code? How many people use this site? I'll say they launched this $5 draft contest and they have about 50,000 entries through the first 4 days. A lot of people use Underdog Fantasy. It's the most popular drafting site there is for best ball. And I'm not sure if you're trolling, asking us if we have a promo code, but hell yes, we have a promo code. Go use promo code FLOCK. Not only are you going to get a deposit dollar for dollar up to 100, but on top of that, you'll get our rankings, you'll get our dynasty rankings, you'll get our dynasty rookie draft guide, and you'll support this channel. Okay, so Kareem Hunt goes to the 901. It would have been nice to get Hunt make it back to us, but it is what it is. Not going to happen. And let's pull up this board. Stafford and Rodgers are both falling. We have the elite quarterback, the elite running back, the elite tight end, and then a bunch of wide receiver help. So at this point, we probably want to see some running backs falling to us. Unless, I don't want to speak too much. Damian Harris goes at pick 100. Derek takes James Cook. Okay, so he is going through and he's building around that Buffalo game as well. We got to keep that in mind. Okay, so do we end up with another Rodgers draft? The issue with the Rodgers draft would be I would feel pressured into taking a wide receiver on the turn, which I do not want to do that. Allen Lazard goes. You still have Christian Watson here. Singletary at the 908. Let's see. Just manage better. 2 RBs, 4 receivers, the elite quarterback, the elite tight end. I'm unsure if they'd want to go Rodgers whenever they already have Mahomes. Jalen Hurts is a bye week 7, so we aren't going to go through and grab Watson. Rodgers goes. So we have a no-brainer. We have to go Chase Edmonds. With Chase Edmonds, yes, the backfield definitely looks crowded, but you have to look at the fact that Chase Edmonds is the only running back in that backfield that actually has a guaranteed contract, essentially. So there are going to be some running back cuts. We don't know if it's going to be Raheem Mostert. We don't know if it's going to be Sony Michel. We don't know if it's going to be Myles Gaskin that they move on from, but they are probably going to have to move on from one of those players, and we'll be sitting... Derek Carr goes. We'll be sitting left over with Chase Edmonds as the starting running back, but god dang, you really have to take Derek Carr from us. I can't go Watson because that's so frustrating. We're not reaching on running backs here. Wide receivers are the best value. Oh, I really wish we would have had Carr making it back. We'll go Marquez Valdez-Scantling. We'll just try to get some spike weeks coming in here. We're going after the Green Bay Packers wide receivers that are no longer in Green Bay. We have Devontae Adams. We have MVS. This did not work out for us. Oh, dear God. Let's see how these next rounds go. But we really wanted Derek Carr coming to us at the 10:02 to get the stack with Adams. It is what it is. We will move on. Amy coming out says, sorry, Mason. Amy, why are you going to have to do us like that? Let's go through and let's check out Amy's team so far. Mixon, Lamb at the 1-2 turn. I really like getting Lamb here. Great value on Kyle Pitts. And the third, I personally prefer Waddle over Deontay, but I completely understand if someone else would want to go Deontay. Amy's killed this draft. Clyde Edwards-Helaire running back 3 here. Derek Carr. where could you have gone with an elite quarterback? I probably would have preferred going with someone like Trey Lance here at the beginning of the 8th. Because with Carr, if he gets there, it's only going to be based on his overall passing volume. So I feel like if you take Carr, you almost have to have one of his pass catchers. Whereas like Trey Lance, it's going to be based off his rushing production. So I would have been fine taking Lance unstacked. So I really like this team. I think the only thing I would have done is probably reached on like Trey Lance. And then instead of taking Carr and Kirk, Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Lance, or Christian Watson and Lance. But maybe Amy was banking on Aaron Rodgers making it back and then taking the Green Bay Packers quarterback and receiver stack on the turn. Dakota says, what's your favorite stack this year with ADP? I'll say my most popular stack. Actually, I don't want to admit that. I don't want to admit what our most popular is. Let's go through and let's look at the quarterbacks with where they're being drafted. The stacks that fall into your lap easily are going to be the Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray stack. This team went out of their way and they reached on getting that by taking Hollywood Brown at the 304 when Hollywood usually goes at the 3-4 turn. Kyler usually goes at the 5-6 turn. That's going to be an extremely popular stack. Jamar Chase, Burrow. I don't really even know if I've been able to come away with that stack this season. It's not necessarily I hate Chase or Burrow. I just truly have never really drafted at the 105. And then if we're moving on from there, the Russell Wilson stack is going to be a little bit expensive because I'm not willing to pay the price on Courtland Sutton. Justin Herbert, that's going to be one of the most popular stacks. Allen, if you can get Allen by going through and reaching on Stephon Diggs, like I truly don't understand why JT here would have passed on Allen at the 307 whenever they had the gift. I mean, the best stack you can think of, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs there. So if somehow that falls into your lap, you have to take advantage. I think you have to take Allen at the 307. I would say my favorite stack, if you can get it, very rarely does it actually happen, is if you can somehow get Jalen Hurts at the end of the 6th. Now he mainly goes at the beginning of the 6th. But if you can get Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, that pairing, you would either have to have A.J. Brown fall into like the middle of the 3rd and then Jalen Hurts fall into the middle of the 6th. So it is very tough to pull off though. Okay. So there goes Ronald Jones. Quarterbacks that be making it to us. Justin Fields. Fields is already off. So it looks like we're not going quarterback. Yeah, we're not taking Trevor Lawrence here. So who all has double quarterbacks? You have the Dak and Stafford team pairing up. You have Brady and Cousins on the same roster. You have Wilson and Fields. You have Allen and Watson. And that's it. I feel like there should be more quarterbacks at the top of the board. Really weird. I see it's just completely barren right now. Okay. They go McCole Hardman. They kind of had to go with the wide receiver. They only had 3. They only had Mike Evans, Courtland Sutton, and Drake London. But they are going to get away with only having to draft probably 4 or 5 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, and potentially they're going to stop drafting tight ends early as well. Okay, just manage better. Has the elite quarterback tight end pairing, balance, running back, wide receiver. I think they could really do whatever they want. They go Robert Tonyan here at the 1109. I feel like we may end up having to draft 3 QBs. I would hate to admit it, but I think we may have to, depending on our second option that we get falling to us. But we're not taking one on the turn. We're just going to have to wait to see what happens at the 13-14 turn. Gronk goes at pick 130. It's easy. We have to take running back here. Unless, actually, no, we don't. We never have to do anything. No, we need to take 2 of these RBs. Yeah, let's go Dameon Pierce. Never mind. I was going to say, oh, we're going to get one of these guys we like making it to us at the 1202, even if Amy takes 2. But no, I mean, we have to grab 2 of these guys at the turn. We'll go Dameon Pierce and then probably Rachaad White if he makes it, or Isaiah Spiller or Michael Carter. Michael Carter is my most drafted running back so far this season. And dear God, I was not expecting that at all. DeAndre says, hey, Mason, I always wear my flock hat when I'm out and about. Everyone loves it. Thank you, my man, for representing. I'm happy to hear that you like it. Okay, Jacoby Myers at the 1201. Yeah, the running backs that we'll be looking at on the way back around, I'm not too excited about. So we will go ahead and we'll take an RB here. We'll take White. I don't have much Rachaad White. I think the difference between Rachaad White and Isaiah Spiller is marginal. Let's take Isaiah Spiller. The reason for this is Isaiah Spiller, and I never look at buys. You'll never hear me talk about buys. Really, the only time I'm going to pay attention to them is if we were only drafting 2 quarterbacks or 2 tight ends. I'm going to make sure that those don't line up. But I want to have the off chance that we may only have to draft 5 running backs here. When we have Barkley and we go with the hero running back build, it is possible for us to stop at 5 RBs. Probably not favorable given how long we waited on these other options. But it just really depends on the value that falls to us. And Isaiah Spiller has a different bye week than any of our other running backs, which is why I think it's possible we could get away with it. Okay, so Thomas says, I was at the 102 in my last puppy. I managed to have A.J. Brown at the 211 and Jalen Hurts at the 611. Yeah, that is one of the best stacks, in my opinion. It's just so damn hard to see Jalen Hurts fall to the end of the 6th. Now, like, I reached on Jalen Hurts at the beginning of the 5th. I'm willing to admit that it was a reach for just to get the elite level quarterback coming in. But I think the majority of drafts, you should see Jalen Hurts off the board like 602, 603. Okay. DeAndre says Michael Carter for sure. The issue with me taking Michael Carter is he's legitimately my most drafted running back, and it's not remotely close either. Jarvis Landry at the 1206. If we're referring to like me drafting Michael Carter compared to Rachaad White, Isaiah Spiller, I have Michael Carter everywhere. And since he has a later ADP and I already have him in so many drafts, I feel like there's no reason for me to continue to take him here. Okay, Frymuth falls to the 1208. Let me see. Derek took Frymuth, pick 140, ADP of 122. This is second tight end there to pair with Darren Waller. Derek says, DS 9090 here. First time and last time drafting with you guys. Y'all are too good. Hella fun though. No, thank you, my man, for coming out. And I will admit I have been drafting way more in the mornings than on the live stream. Because I agree with you, it's very hard to draft in these live streams. It's very hard. I think there are a lot of people that watch the channel that are significantly smarter than I am. So y'all just come out here and crush me on the live streams. Like it's brutal. Okay, so Cole Kmet at the 1301. I would like to have a tight end making it to us. We have Mark Andrews. I have so many eggs in that Mark Andrews basket. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Hell, we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to pay the piper, deal with the consequences, but we are going to draft as if Andrew stays healthy. That's what we're going to do. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Mark Andrews goes down. But hell, if he goes down, I'm already selling my dog, selling the flock sign behind us, probably selling the YouTube channel as well. Doing anything I can do to make rent. Okay, so let's pull this up. Probably don't end up taking a running back here. So if we were to take Trevor Lawrence, we don't have any stacks with Lawrence. ADP of 147. Winston, we have the Michael Thomas stack. Okay, so I guess we're taking Winston. He doesn't have the same buy as Jalen Hurts. Winston does have an elite ceiling. He led the NFL in passing yards in 2019. Now, I do think that the overall scheme in New Orleans isn't going to allow that to happen, especially with the defense that the New Orleans Saints have. But we know there's path to upside, especially path to spike weeks, which is what we are going to be looking for in best ball. So there's a chance we go Winston here with this next pick to pair up with Michael Thomas. Just manage better on the clock. They have the elite quarterback, elite tight end. They took Michael Carter in the last round. They go Lawrence. Let's see if Eldwer comes out and takes Winston. Don't do it to us. Don't do it to us. I guess we could go Zach Wilson if we need to. We have Elijah Moore. They go Higbee. So if we look at what Amy could potentially do, is there a massive difference for us between Tyler Algier and Kenneth Gainwell? Let's roll the dice. Take Tyler Algier, pick 155, and really hope that Winston makes it back. If not, it's not the end of the world. We have the stack with Zach Wilson as well. We have both stacks. We'll take whichever one makes it back. You just we're almost certain Amy only has 3 running backs here. She was going to go through and she was going to pull the trigger on Tyler Algier. If we didn't, we don't know if she was going to take a quarterback. Okay, she goes quarterback Matt Ryan. Helps us. Jay Wall says, Mason, I watch your videos on both channels religiously. Are there any YouTube channels you watch a lot? Thank you, my man, for supporting. And oh my God, I don't watch anything but YouTube. And I'm not joking about that either. Like, YouTube is the only form of content that I take in. Like, I have YouTube Premium. Oh, dear God, it's fantastic. You can play it. I mean, you have no ads. It's worth it alone for no ads. And keep in mind, I don't pay for anything. Like, I never have any subscriptions. And on top of this, you can play it without the app being open. So at the same time, you don't even have to pull up your podcast app. You can listen to all your podcasts on YouTube. It's perfect. It's perfect. I watch so many YouTube channels religiously. Okay, DJ Chark at the 1404, Will Fuller at the 1403. And Gary says, what is Allen Robinson's ADP? Allen Robinson usually goes at the beginning of the 5th round in these. I think his exact ADP is 52. We're guessing. Let me pull this up and show y'all how addicted to these drafts I am. Because if I know Allen Robinson's ADP off the top of my head, y'all got to give me some props here. Derek only has 5 wide receivers. Interesting. Okay, so let's go. We're scrolling through and trying to find Allen Robinson, who drafted him. Okay. Where is Allen Robinson? Okay, I apologize. Not 52. His ADP is 50.8. So essentially 51. We are right there with it. We are right there. Okay, I think that's still impressive. Still impressive. Okay, let's scroll this down. Chris says, oh, wow, someone just took a 4th quarterback. Okay, I'm assuming in your draft. And one thing you have to be on the lookout for, it doesn't happen that much on the live stream, but in almost every single draft that I am in outside the live stream, there is one team auto drafting. And you need to make sure you are watching because sometimes that team will stack up 7 running backs through the first 8 rounds. Sometimes they'll stack up 4 tight ends through the first 7 rounds. Sometimes they'll stack up 4 quarterbacks in that range. And you need to understand that that is going to shift the entire draft board. So if you see a team that you're like, oh, hell, they're on auto draft. They just took Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray. Yeah, there are going to be no quarterbacks left over. I got to reach on mine now before other people realize. So I'm assuming maybe you're in another draft that someone is auto drafting, but please be on the lookout for that if you're hopping into these underdog drafts. Okay, so Corey Davis at the 14-11. Who was our second running back? Chase Edmonds. We still need to go 6 RBs. I think I would prefer going 6 running backs with this build compared to 3 QBs. We have Jalen Hurts. I think when you take Jalen Hurts and you look at his season last year and you combine A.J. Brown to it, he has to hit, right? He has to be an elite quarterback. He was almost a top 5 quarterback last season, and he had 6 games with over 200 passing yards. Now you add A.J. Brown in that situation, it's going to be fantastic. GA says so many auto drafts in the puppy. Yeah, like I said, you have to pay attention, and you have to be happy when people are auto drafting there as well, because they're essentially just donating to the league pot, but you need to make sure you're taking advantage of it. Okay, so real quick, thank you, of course, for being a part of the flock, and we will get another draft going after this one. We will get another draft going. Just go to the link in the description, go to the link in the live chat, click the link, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy, use promo code FLOCK. I'll match you deposit off it all, and you'll have some fun. Have some fun with us in the live stream. And if you have not done so already, drop a like on the live stream. Let's get this live stream 250 likes. I'm not going to say we need 250 likes to get a 3rd draft going. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm wanting to do this regardless. Okay, so Gerald Everett goes at the 1507, and I maybe have lied to y'all. If Zach Wilson makes it here, and we'll get the stack with Elijah Moore as well, we'll probably take another quarterback. I probably lied to y'all here. I'm sorry about lying. How many wide receivers? We may have to, because who gives us more points throughout the year? Brian Robinson, Keel Herbert, Raheem Mostert, or Zach Wilson? It has to be Zach Wilson, right? I hate this team. We did a very bad job in this draft. This is a very bad draft. Zach Wilson goes. Amy only has one tight end. We'll take Noah Fan here for a second option. Doesn't have the same bye week as Mark Andrews. It is what it is. Okay, from here, are we just going to go with our plan 2-6-8-2? I think we can. Amy goes Hayden Hurst. Clutch Cow says, I saw Tony go in the third and Goff go in the fifth. It does seem like some drafts, like someone just gives like their child the phone. Yeah, the wide receivers in this range, they're the same as the rest of the draft. We'll go Keel Herbert here as our 6 RB. And then I'm honestly not even going to finish this draft off. I'm just going to go through and queue a bunch of wide receivers because we're going to take 2 wide receivers after this. I will show you this draft board, and I will admit that we had a horrendous draft, like unbelievably, unspeakably bad. We took Ayuk here at the 802, hoping Lance was going to make it back to us. Lance goes at the 806. We take Edmonds because we were desperate for a running back, and there was nobody else in that tier. And then Derek Carr goes out right after us. We take some gross running backs here, 11, 12, 13. Horrible draft. Horrible draft by myself. Let's switch this over. Let me queue up some wide receivers. And we will be getting into a puppy draft after this one if people are wanting to join with us. We have Winston. Do we add in Marquez Callaway here? Okay, so we queued up a ton of wide receivers. I think we are good to move over to the next draft. And let me show the screen with y'all. Okay, there we go. We are entering in the puppy draft now. And there are 9 spots open, so that sucks. That means everybody in here is going to be a part of the flock. Oh my gosh. 2 spots still open for anybody wanting to hop in. Draft starting. We're at the 103. I did this draft earlier. It is. Hopefully it goes better than last time. We have to draft with J.K. Hooper. We have to draft with Zach. We have to draft with Santiago. We are getting in a draft party till she's hot. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. I believe that's going to be his first time out here all offseason. Was out here a ton last year. Falony is out here as well. Fully loaded. We have so many members of the flock out in this draft. Dear God. Dear God. Let's just queue up JT, Cooper Kupp. Actually, we drafted at the 102 earlier. Because, yeah, we had a no-brainer. We went Cooper Kupp. We didn't even have to think about it. You know what? I will not take Christian McCaffrey in this draft. We'll try something new. I'll take Justin Jefferson if Kupp goes before us. Let's go wide receiver in the first. I know this draft we're probably going to get running backs falling. Like, we can get a running back at the 2-3 turn. Even though CMC, I will say, very similar to Michael Thomas. Ton of red flags, but there is nobody else in fantasy football who has more upside. Like Christian McCaffrey could legitimately just break fantasy football this season. Okay, we don't have to reach on anybody. We are just going to get Cooper Kupp at pick 3. And I guess, you know what? It does make sense if you take Cooper Kupp at 2, you're going to have a ton of exposure to Cooper Kupp because I have Cooper Kupp in a lot of these drafts, surprisingly. Like my exposure to him is like 15%, which I feel like shouldn't necessarily be the case if you're drafting a player that goes in the top 3 picks over and over again. GA says, go unique with the first pick, question mark. I am probably going to end up doing that in some drafts that I just get in the morning, but whenever we're in the live stream, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take a Kelsey here just to have a unique build or Stephon Diggs here to have a unique build because I know there are going to be people coming into the live stream that don't fully understand and just want to tell me I'm an idiot and hurt my feelings, which I'm a human too, guys. I'm a human too. Come on. Okay, Lamb goes at the 108. So it looks like Zach is going for a unique build here, taking CeeDee Lamb over Stephon Diggs, taking CeeDee Lamb over Derrick Henry. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. I want to see who they go with in the second round. Okay, so Stephon Diggs goes at the 109. Derrick Henry at the 110. And I've seen Derrick Henry, not even in just the live stream drafts, but I've seen Derrick Henry falling a lot to the 109. And it makes my Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook start that I had a couple weeks, not even a couple weeks ago. God, it feels like I've been doing this forever. Like 4 days ago. It makes me feel like that is so unique and so good, yada, yada. In reality, it's not that different. Okay, I keep on getting notifications that we're on the clock, and I was like, okay, did I enter in 2 of these? But no, we're on the clock in the other one. We have that queue set up, though. Okay, so Devontae Adams goes. Interesting. Hey, if we get Andrews falling, if we get Mark Andrews falling to us, or Travis Kelce falling to us, I will strip off this suit, and we'll be having a party in here. We'll be having a straight up party, but it won't happen. Rogilo says, when will the flock be available in Mexico? I want to join. I'm sorry, my man. Underdog Fantasy is not available in Mexico. Trust me, I wish it was. But hopefully sometime soon. It's just Underdog Fantasy. It's not like one of those sketchy websites. It's just 100% all over the board. Like you see TV commercials with Underdog Fantasy and stuff. So it's all up to the lawmakers there on what they think about DFS companies. I don't think any DFS companies are available in Mexico, but I don't live in Mexico, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Okay, so Chris says in the other draft, he's experimenting and got Kelce and Andrews. Whenever I've tried it, it hasn't worked out. Whenever I've tried to go 2 tight ends in the top 4 rounds, it hasn't worked out. But please let me know if you have a different experience with it. DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, Deebo Samuel. Nothing's out of the ordinary now. Everything looks very standard. Really, the craziest draft pick in this has been CeeDee Lamb. Zach goes CeeDee Lamb and Deebo Samuel in this one. So that is probably a unique combination if we're going to be honest here. Okay. Let's pull this up. I don't know what to. I think Patty Mag is also part of the flock. And I think everybody in here is. Yeah, no, I know Patty Mag's part of the flock. See where they go. Mike Evans goes to the 207. They take Aaron Jones. Tyreek Hill gone. AJ Brown 210. Just locking it in. Fast as possible. Zach says, I have that combo in like 5 different drafts already. Got my strategy and I'm going to run with it until I get it right. And that's what's nice. Like if you're joining Underdog Fantasy, go get in the $5 drafts. Like don't load up a bunch of the $25 Best Ball Mania drafts right away. Make sure you go through, you feel comfortable with your strategy, you're able to implement it consistently, and that way you can go hop into 1 to 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, $25 drafts, whatever you feel comfortable with. But make sure you practice in the $5 drafts first. And what's great is when you go sign up to Underdog Fantasy to draft with us in the live stream, to draft in the public lobby, to go have some fun. Not only are you going to get to have fun, but they are also going to match your deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. So if you go deposit $20, use promo code FLOCK with the link in the description in the live stream, they'll add $20 to your account. And you can go, okay, well, let me hop into, they actually have $3 drafts as well. If y'all want to do $3 drafts, I'm not going to do them on a live stream, but you can go, okay, well, they just added an extra $20 to my account. I can practice in 6 $3 drafts. That's how I'd recommend doing it. I would definitely not hop into the big dollar drafts right away. Okay, G says, what happens if people work together to stack a single team to win the tournament? They all join the same draft and let the person select the top players. It essentially is the same issue that online poker has. Underdog Fantasy has invested God knows how much money to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, it's like, oh, I can't go to party poker. I can't go and play on poker, whatever site is, because people can just collude against me. It's the same thing on Underdog Fantasy. Like, if you go read like the iTunes reviews on Underdog Fantasy, you can see some people that tried to beat the system and then automatically get banned. And then they're like, oh my God, I got banned because I was in the same draft with my wife. I don't know why they... Come on. So yeah, no, Underdog Fantasy has like security measures to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, Thomas says Underdog will delete their team. Yeah, that's what happens. And if you ever see anything like that happening, like if you see a team at the 101 go Ronald Jones, and then in the second round they go through and they take Drew Lock, and they just go through the entire draft like that, report that draft to Underdog Fantasy. Report it. Get the team Unless, like, you'll see someone take Kadarius Toney in the third, and you'll be like, okay, that guy's stupid. That guy doesn't really know what he's doing. That doesn't really look like collusion. But if you see someone that's clearly colluding, just report it, and Underdog Fantasy will delete it and ban them. And I'm sure they have, like, AI that does it. Okay, Hollywood Brown, DJ Moore go into the third. And the reason here we go AJ Brown is simply because when you're drafting at the 101 and you have Jonathan Taylor, you're going to find that it's so hard for you to be able to go through and for you to go back-to-back running back. So if we are looking at a tier of drafts that you have Nick Chubb, Leonard Fournette, Saquon Barkley, all available, you know that you're not going to have all three running backs going off in this 4-pick group with pick 23, 24, 25, 26. So I'm going to prefer to just grab the wide receiver that I want. Like, I definitely prefer AJ Brown over Mike Williams. I'm going to grab that wide receiver and then just let them choose what running back I get on the way back around. But I really like this draft so far because we have the option to stack Matthew Stafford. We have the option to stack AJ Brown. We have the option to stack Leonard Fournette with Tom Brady, all of whom are quarterbacks that I would like to come away with in this draft. It's just going to depend on the value. Okay, so Cam Akers still available. Cam Akers, very similar to what I was speaking on earlier when we were looking at guys like Dameon Pierce, Gus Edwards. I don't know how Cam Akers has an ADP here. I've never seen Cam Akers go here. Like, Cam Akers always falls to the middle of the fourth. Zach here goes Breece Hall instead. Zach has started with Hall at running back, Lamb, Debo, Michael Pittman at receiver. Okay, so we are 3 picks away now. Jerry Jeudy goes to the 406. Good thing we grabbed AJ Brown in the second instead of gone running back, because you do have a lot of drafters here going with wide receivers. Darren Waller goes to the 407. Patty Mag goes Justin Herbert to stack up with Mike Williams. Cam Akers goes to the 409. We have an easy selection. We're going to go through. We're going to take George Kittle. With George Kittle here, it's going to allow us only at the draft 2 tight ends. That's a roster construction bump. And we are going to be getting another primary candidate for one of those players that we are targeting with our stacks. We're going to be able to target Trey Lance later on. Okay, so fully loaded is up here. Okay, I think, I got an idea. I am excited. This is a great draft so far. DK Metcalf goes to the 412. GA says Courtland Sutton available. Yeah, no, Courtland Sutton's my next target. Yeah, so Courtland Sutton, top of ADP. We are going to go through. We're going to take Courtland Sutton. Just kidding. Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever in a million years think about doing that? So here we have a couple different options. We could go Allen Robinson to potentially get the double stack with Matthew Stafford. We could go Chris Godwin to get the double stack with Tom Brady. Now, I'm fine with getting either. Now, I prefer Chris Godwin, the player. So we're going to go Chris Godwin. And we are still opening ourselves up to getting that potential double stack with Brady, Leonard Fournette. Because Leonard Fournette, a lot of his value is going to be derived from the passing game. So I'm fine actually pairing that running back and quarterback combination together. Okay, so Travis Etienne goes at the 505. Mitchell says, have you ever played Dynasty with IDPs? I know a lot of people want me to cover IDP content. I can't do it, my man. I would be out of my depth. I want to focus in on a few things and try to do those few things to the best of my ability. If all of a sudden instead of focusing on the top 200 players in fantasy drafts this season on the offensive side of the ball, if I expand that to an additional 300 defensive players, I'm already bad at fantasy football. It's going to make me worse, my man. So let's go through, and I'm going to try to pinpoint my focus and get as good as I can at this one skill set. Ashton says, is this the last draft you're going to do on the live stream? Possibly. I mean, it is Memorial Day. We have a ton of people out here. We've had 2,000 views on this live stream. I think a reasonable expectation, a reasonable ask for the amount of likes on the stream to keep going, 310. It's about to be 6 p.m. 310 likes on the live stream, and we will get another draft going after this one. Courtland Sutton goes at the 511, a much more reasonable price than where he usually goes at the end of the 4th, at the beginning of the 5th. Juju Smith-Schuster goes at the 512, continuously seeing these wide receivers go off the board. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise. And yeah, you have Fallendy here getting the double stack with Mahomes, Kelsey, and Juju Smith-Schuster, going Bateman as the best player available according to ADP, or at least at the wide receiver position. I'm unsure what running backs are still up. But yeah, I think Bateman's actually probably the best player available according to ADP overall. Yeah, because Antonio Gibson's fallen a ton in his own average draft position. No, J.K. Dobbins would have been the best player available according to ADP at 62. I apologize about that. Yeah, he has an ADP at 57. Sorry, 54. Okay, so Michael Thomas goes at the 603. CG up on the clock. They have Swift, Connor, Diggs, Amari, Brandon Cooks. They go Jalen Hurts. Painful. It hurts. It really is painful. We had A.J. Brown, but Jalen Hurts has an ADP of 65. I can't be pissed he didn't make it a 70. I can't be sitting here throwing a temper tantrum that Jalen Hurts didn't make it a 70. Okay, Zach up on the clock. Mitchell says, understandable. I mainly like IDP because there are more discrepancies in perceived value. It creates interesting trades. Like, is Bobby Wagner worth Devontae Smith? Yeah, like I said, my man, I would love to dive into it, but I just think I'm not smart enough to handle all of it. Like, I'm not smart enough to be able to claim that I'm an IDP expert and then also just a regular fantasy football guy. So I'm going to have to sit out of IDP analysis, even though it does, I don't want to say pain me, but I would like to participate. Okay, Joe Burrow goes. I think we just go ahead and take a receiver. Let me think. Or do we go with Elijah Mitchell? Based on the rest of this draft room, let's go ahead and get Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, Treylon Burks goes to the 6'11". Zach says, Amon-Ra St. Brown, nice pick. Yeah, I think if you're looking at the wide receiver tiers, I kind of just wanted to go that direction of pick 70. I don't act like I have a very strong preference between Amon-Ra St. Brown, Treylon Burks, and DeAndre Hopkins. Adam Thielen goes to the 701. Okay, so the last player in this tier is Devonta Smith. I guess you could make the argument the last running back in the tier is also Elijah Mitchell. Okay, this team is the team that took Lamar. Okay, so Elijah Mitchell, great value according to his ADP. If you want to take Elijah Mitchell in the 7th round, you do you, great. But we want to be able to stop drafting at 2 quarterbacks. That's going to be a goal of ours. We took Chris Godwin specifically to have the option of taking Tom Brady in this range. Tom Brady fell into this range. We are going to take him. We are not going to think about it. It is setting ourselves up nicely for the 2-6-8-2 build. 2-6-8-2, like we've been saying for a long time. Okay, so we have Kyle says, I don't know, I'd rather go with Devonta Smith over Amon-Ra St. Brown. We do have A.J. Brown here. I feel like if we were ever going to decide to use that tiebreaker of going with Devonta Smith over St. Brown, it's hard to imagine us taking both Smith and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jalen Hurts with his rushing upside not being a league-winning player if both of those receiving options hit. So since we didn't get Jalen Hurts, I'm not dying to grab Devonta Smith as well. Miles Sanders goes to the 705 to Patty Mag. Okay, so Patty Mag, I believe they were in drafts with us a ton last year, but I don't think we've had him out so far this season. And they have 4 running backs through this build so far, 2 receivers. They do stack Williams and Herbert. It's interesting just because if I'm looking at this, like I know you get the Herbert stack with Mike Williams, but like I easily would have preferred taking Javonte Williams in the middle of the 3rd and then passing on, say, A.J. Dillon in the 6th and instead grabbing a wide receiver in this range. Like I would prefer the combination of Javonte Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown compared to A.J. Dillon and Mike Williams. Okay. So Garrett says, what's his promo code for Underdog? Thank you for asking. I don't know if you're trolling. I'm assuming you actually already know and you're just making fun of me for saying it all the time, but I will say it again. Promo code FLOCK. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Link in the description. Link in the live chat. Supports this channel. The most fun activity you could ever do on the planet. Legitimately. Get into drafts with me on the live stream. Public lobby. Friends. Get our rankings. Literally with the $10 deposit on promo code FLOCK. With promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. Link in the live stream. Okay. So Ryan says 6 running backs and 8 wide receivers or vice versa. No, you cannot go more than 6 running backs. 6 running backs is the most you can draft in these tournament style drafts on Underdog Fantasy. Some people would argue drafting 6 severely limits your ceiling. I'm fine with it because we wait on running backs to go ahead and to draft 6 of these guys. So no, you're going to draft 8 wide receivers and 6 RBs. A wide receiver is going to be a little bit more volatile week to week, which you want in a best ball format. And on top of that, you have to start 3 wide receivers here where you only have to start 2 RBs. Okay. So don't really see any other surprises outside of Elijah Mitchell making it to pick 82. Santiago got a great value there. Dak, Russell Wilson going in the middle of the 7th. That's not a big deal either. Okay, so let's pull this up. So we do have some potential stacks making it back to us. We have the potential stack with Stafford. Lance is gone now. Zach went Lance to pair up with Deebo Samuel. It did reach on Lance. So far, Zach, I'm interested to see how this team... I don't think I like this team. I'm interested to see how it plays out, though. Russell Gage goes to the 806. Dear God, these wide receivers are flying. J.K. Ooper here has 2 great tight ends, has Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, possibly pushing the envelope and possibly pushing some of these other tight ends to go up the board a little bit further than they otherwise would. Derek says, do you have to set your lineup each week? I know Derek's out here trolling me. I know that's a troll. Okay. So Damian Harris at the 807. You have all of these running backs really far down according to their ADP. I mean, obviously, when we personally have Cooper Kupp, we were hoping Matthew Stafford made it to us. I'm not going to throw a fit that Matthew Stafford didn't. We need another running back. Whenever we haven't taken a running back up until this point of the draft, which sometimes, yes, that's the situation I'm in, we are going to go Cordell Patterson. However, when we already have one, I'm probably just going to take Kenneth Walker here as pick 94. Aaron Rodgers is off the board. Yeah, we're not. The thing is, if we take Rodgers here at the 811, I'm fine with it, but then we're locking ourselves into taking Christian Watson. Like we'd say, okay, well, yeah, we can take Aaron Rodgers, but we have to take Christian. And we already have 4 receivers. We only have 1 running back. I think it's hard to pass in the running backs in this range to grab the second elite quarterback. Christian Watson goes to the 901. So I wonder if Fuby, I think that's how you say that, Furby? I don't freaking know. I wonder if they had to want Christian Watson making it back to them. I don't really see why they took Rodgers when they had Lamar as well. They go Claypool, pick 98. Do we go Pollard? We need another running back. He has an ADP of 88. We're on pick 99. I think generally Pollard's a little bit overvalued in these drafts when he's going ahead of someone like Kareem Hunt consistently. Like he has an ADP of 8 picks ahead of Hunt. It is what it is. If he falls 11 picks according to his ADP, I feel like we have to take him because what happens if Zeke goes down this year? Zeke goes down, Tony Pollard is the top 5 RB. We are going to go Pollard. It sucks that we didn't get Stafford. Usually we will get Stafford in this range. And it also sucks that we didn't get Lance. But we have Brady. So it's not like the situation we were in last draft. At least I feel like it's not. And we have the elite level tight end as well. So GA said he wanted Hunt. Williams says he wanted Hunt. I think we probably have Kareem Hunt as our 3rd most drafted running back. I know Michael Carter's 1. Like I've Kareem Hunt everywhere. We had him everywhere last year as well, which wasn't too much of a flex because it's not like he had a great win rate last year. But it's hard for me to go through and take Hunt over Pollard if I don't have Pollard in many drafts. And we know that we're going to be drafting 150 of these teams and we'll be able to take Hunt later in other drafts. And we're never going to get Pollard in this range. Okay, so Chris Olave goes at the 909. You have tight ends falling in this draft, which is interesting as well because you had J.K. Ooper taking both Hawkinson and Waller. So I would have assumed that would have pushed tight ends up the board. But Dallas Goedert makes it to the 908, and you have Dawson Knox sitting there. Dawson Knox actually doesn't go off the board. Instead, Zach Ertz goes off the board. As Zach says, first time I've ever taken Dallas Goedert. Feels disgusting. Yeah, you needed a tight end, though. Goddard, 10 picks behind his ADP. I will say it's very hard to imagine how Dallas Goedert gets there and is a top level option this upcoming season when you have the target competition in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and we can assume that Jalen Hurts won't lead the Philadelphia Eagles to be an above average passing offense this upcoming season, at least with their volume. So it's hard to imagine how Dallas Goedert gets there. But what we can say with Dallas Goedert is on an efficiency standpoint, like if you look at his yards per route run last season, was ridiculous. Was ridiculous. Okay, so you have Kadarius Toney going at the 12:03. I mean, 10:03. I apologize. 10:03. Chase Edmonds at the 10:04. And like I said, if we get to 310 likes on this live stream, we will go ahead and we will get another draft going after this one. This is our third draft. It's our third draft. We've had over 2,100 views on the live stream. So I think 310 likes is not asking for too much. Yeah, Melvin Gordon going at the 10:06. We have 3 RBs. I'm honestly fine with running backs going. I don't care too much. Kirk Cousins is an interesting pick here just because if you take him, are we done at quarterback? Do we have to take another? We could get Erskine Jr. later. We could get KJ Osborne later, but it feels weird to have to rely on that. Kirk Cousins goes regardless. Yeah, probably wouldn't have taken Cousins. Just kind of talking out loud. We're going to go Jameson Williams. I mean, we're going to get Jameson Williams. I guess now we're setting ourselves up to go get Jared Goff when we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, when we have Jameson Williams. I guess Goff is our target as our quarterback too. Even though I feel like if we're taking Goff as our quarterback too, we probably have to take a third. But when we take Leonard Fournette, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, I think we're comfortable actually only having to go through and take 5 running backs instead of 6. So yeah, let's plan on Goff and let's plan on taking 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 8 receivers, and 2 tight ends. Okay, Dameon Pierce goes to the 11:02. None of these players are great values. It's almost just like, okay, who do you want? And as I was saying, we are now changing our strategy to a build. Actually, no. We're going to go Alexander Mattison. We're changing that strategy to a 5 running back build compared to a 6 RB build. So I think it's a little more important. We have access to that elite ceiling here. I know a lot of people are going to say Gronk to stack with Tom Brady. And I would have said that previously, but I read something that Hayden Winks put out last week. And I used to think that going and getting Leonard Fournette, Chris Godwin, Tom Brady, and Gronk all on the same team was fantastic. But because you're looking at such a large field in week 17 for this tournament contest, for you to actually have a different team, for you to have access to the highest ceiling possible, you really need to cap yourself at 3 players from the same team. Now, if you're going to be talking about your 18th, 17th round selection, I think it's fine to go ahead and get a 4th player from that same team. But something that I have changed my mind about lately is I do not think you can access a truly elite level ceiling by taking 4 players from the same offense through the first 10, 11 rounds. Like it is very difficult to do so. Okay, Chris says, drink water. My man. Am I spitting everywhere or something? Why are we saying this? Self-Made Fantasy says 101 days until NFL kickoff. We have that long. Are you kidding me? I guess, you know what would be funny then? We'll probably have over 100 drafts then. I'm sorry, 100 live streams in a row on Underdog Fantasy drafting. That is pretty damn cool. That is really cool. Okay. So now we have Tua Tagovailoa going at the 11:11. I don't even know what we're hoping for. Like I said, we're going to have to take 3 QBs, so I don't really care if they go now. Like, even if Justin Fields made it to us, like, it's not like we can stop there. So you have some wide receivers flying off. It looks like we're probably not going to go with the wide receiver with our next pick, but we have Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams. Now, I will admit, it doesn't seem great to have both Jameson Williams and Chris Godwin on the same roster when we can assume both wide receivers miss the beginning part of the season. I will admit that doesn't seem fantastic, but hell, it is what it is. We're dealing with it. We're dealing with it and we're moving on. Okay, Gesicki at the 1203. Irv Smith Jr. at the 1204. I guess possibly we could go tight end. Jamison Crowder goes. We're probably going to end up going running back, especially if we want to stop at 5 running backs. Yeah, I think grabbing another running back here will be the play. And we could even grab DJ Chark. I know we're talking about, we don't want to have too many Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we'll happily have too many Detroit Lions. I know that's idiotic to say, but I think the investment's a little bit lessened. Okay, so J.K. Ooper here. They have 3 RBs, 1 quarterback. Maybe they go Fields. They have Darnell Mooney. I think they go Justin Fields. I think it's crazy if they don't go Justin Fields. Or did they just auto draft? No, they took Zach Wilson. Oh my gosh, my man. I am not a fan of that. You don't have a single New York Jets wide receiver. No New York Jets wide receiver. And Zach Wilson doesn't have the rushing upside. Like, what are we doing there? I think Justin Fields is easily the pick. And let's go ahead and let's take our most drafted running back in Michael Carter. He will have a small receiving role at the beginning of the season, and then later on, he will transition to be a primary handcuff running back. Garrett says, I signed up on Underdog with your code. How do I get your rankings? Thank you, my man, so much for supporting the channel. Signing up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK. They send you an automated welcome email about an hour after you sign up that will have our Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide, that will have a link to our locals community where all our rankings are. Also, we have extra live streams. We have a ton of stuff over there, and you get a free month of that. And that's where you'll find our rankings. And usually that costs money, but when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy, they give you a code to get past the paywall. So just make sure you look at the code to get past the paywall, and it'll be free for you. Okay, so do we want to go receiver, tight end? We're done at RB. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take DJ Chark. Chark can cover up potentially for Jameson Williams missing the beginning of the season. We have 3 of these Detroit Lions pass catchers now, so you better believe we are targeting Jared Goff a little bit later on. Goff has an ADP of 192. 192. So let's see where we would need to take Goff. And I'm not reaching on our stacks either, because you have to think about it. You really need the highest ceiling possible. The highest ceiling possible to get there. So if we reach on Jared Goff to get the stack with Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and DJ Chark, and we are just going to end up going up against another team that had that same stack, but we're able to wait on Jared Goff, and we're going to be outgunned. NRG Fantasy Focus says, hey, Mason, can we do a regular $5 draft? Honestly, probably not, just because I really want to max out these puppy drafts. Like, I want to get in 150 puppy drafts. And, well, we are well on our way there. The puppy drafts, like, let me pull this up. I can't change the screen on my phone. But I want to say these puppy drafts are already, like, they launched it last week. They launched the contest last week, and there have been over 27,000 people entered. Like, it's already 25% filled. So it's like, I have to do these fast if we want to be able to get all 150 in. I have to do them fast. Okay, so Albert O makes it all the way to the 1309. So you have a massive wide receiver run happening here. I was thinking about potentially taking Albert O, but no, it is what it is. Okay, so still, yeah, this is why you see the wide receiver run happening. There are not too many wide receivers that are left over. I'd imagine we start to get some running backs off the board, like Party Till She's Hot only has 3 RBs. Falani only has 4. Santiago only has 3. CG only has 3. Zach only has 4. Elder only has 4. J.K. Ooper only has 3. Everybody only has 3 or 4 running backs. So I'd imagine you get some going off the board here, which would be good for us. I don't want to act like it wouldn't. I don't want to try to do some reverse psychology thing. We want these guys to come off the board. We have Fournette. We have Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, and Michael Carter. So we are personally done drafting RBs. Okay, Darrell Henderson goes at the 1402. Let me slide this down. I apologize. Figured y'all could see it all. William says they went all the way up to the puppy 3 last year. Yeah, and I'd imagine based on how fast this puppy draft is there has to be like over There has to be like hundreds of thousands of people drafting on Underdog. Like with how fast these are filling up. And that wasn't the case last offseason. Last offseason, there were probably like what? Instead of, I don't even want to guess because I would be way off. I'd imagine there were half the drafters on Underdog last offseason. So if they did 3 puppy drafts last year, they could probably end up getting away with doing like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 this year. Okay, so Darrell Henderson, Gus Edwards off the board. Good for us. Will Fuller off. Bad for us. We need these running backs to go. But we also kind of want to see these tight ends falling. So it's a little give and take. I've taken a ton of Noah Fant as well. I just feel like we usually wait too long on tight end and end up having to take Noah Fant. Okay, this team has Waller and Hawkinson. They can't go tight end. Robert Tonyan. And then this team has Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth. I doubt they can go tight end either, especially when they only have 5 wide receivers. Okay, so Kenneth Gainwell goes. So we are going to get our second tight end here. We're only going to be drafting 2 of these players, and we are not going to be taking Jared Goff. We're going to wait to take Goff a little bit later on. We're going to be getting him instead with our 16-10, at least according to how ADP shakes up. Actually, but we need 3 quarterbacks regardless, right? You know what? We're not going to take... So we need a tight end. We go Hunter Henry. I mean, here, the teams behind us have 1 tight end, no tight end. So I'd imagine that you get all these guys flying off real quick. Like Higbee's about to go. So I am not going to take a quarterback here. The reason for this is we really need to make sure Lance makes it back to us. I'm sorry, not Lance. We really need to make sure that we end up getting Goff making it back to us. So we want as many quarterbacks, according to ADP, ahead of Jared Goff still on the board. We are going to take 3 of these guys because we weren't lucky enough to get like a second guy like Derek Carr, a second guy like Aaron Rodgers. So instead, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a receiver. We're going to get Robbie Anderson, who was second by a wide margin on the Carolina Panthers in targets last season. NRG says, it's my first draft of the year, Mason. Take advantage of my lack of knowledge. My man, I'm sure you'll still come out and crush us. Okay, so even if it's your first draft of the year and you're all rusty, if you're like a rusted over machine, your drafting machine's all rusty, and I'm a well-oiled machine here. My machine is such poor quality, it doesn't matter if it's in tip-top condition. You're probably still going to run me over. Okay, so The Chosen says, how should you make a bench? I do a lot of mocks, and I always get a terrible bench. Do you have any tips? I'm confused with exactly what the question is. Steven says, crap, I missed this stream, LOL. My man, you did not miss the stream yet. It's Memorial Day, so we are going through and we're grinding these. Like I said, if we get 310 likes on a live stream, we will get another draft going here. And hell, we are about to pass 300 likes on a live stream, so I'd imagine we are about to get another one underway. All I would ask for is for you to go sign up on Underdog Fantasy. Get in a draft with us. This is about to be our 4th draft in a row. This is about to be our 4th draft in a row. Okay, so Tannehill goes to the 1509. Lawrence makes it all the way to the 1502. Marvin Jones goes to pick 178. Let's switch this over. This is our man. The love of our life down here, Mr. Jared Goff. Let's see if he makes it. Every team in this draft has at least 2 quarterbacks. I'd imagine we even get like Daniel Jones making it to us. Do we have a stack for Daniel Jones or Mac Jones? We have Mac Jones. We got Hunter Henry. Ooh, maybe we can come away with Mac Jones and Jared Goff on this turn. Let's see. And if that doesn't happen, we do need to be on the lookout for another wide receiver that we're going to take. We need to take 8 receivers in this draft. So the wide receivers, I guess you have 3 guys. We could get like Wan'Dale Robinson as well. What other wide receivers? Oh, so if we miss out on Goff, if we get like Mac Jones instead, we could go Kendrick Bourne. We could get the double stack with Mac Jones, Hunter Henry, and Kendrick Bourne. Okay, Falony goes Evan Ingram is their second tight end off the board. Interesting to see you go Evan Ingram over Hayden Hurst and Logan Thomas. I'd assume I would easily prefer Logan Thomas. Okay, so Party Till She's Hot is up here on the clock. Love All is coming out. It says, you helped me win my league last year. Kind of wanting to try this underdogs. Man, go make a $10 deposit. They'll add $10 into your account. You'll get my rankings this season. You'll get my dynasty rankings. You'll get my rookie rankings. Try it out. Hop into $4 $5 drafts. Worst case scenario, you don't like it and you lose every draft, which who knows if that'll happen. Who knows if we win $75,000. Worst case scenario. You try it out for $10 and you don't like it. And you paid $10 for our rankings. You paid $10 for 130 pages of our Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide. And here you have Jared Goff going off the board. I'm assuming this is just to troll the live stream. It is what it is. This is why I am excited to get those $250 drafts going later where people can't troll the live stream by taking Jared Goff for no apparent reason. They're significantly ahead of his ADP, but we'll go Daniel Jones instead as our second quarterback. Wan'Dale Robinson goes at the 16-11. We are still going to take a third QB here, especially if we didn't get Goff. We're still going 3 quarterbacks regardless. Okay, fully loaded up on the clock. They have 6 RBs, and they took Taylor. They went heavy running back. They only have 1 tight end, 1 quarterback. Interested to see where they go with this next one. Davis Mills. Okay, so I'm assuming this team has Lamar and Rodgers. Yeah, so we're going to get Carson Wentz as our next player. And we got 310 likes on the live stream. So I will go through, and I will get another one going after this. But let me, real quick, go fill up my water because I feel like I'm going to die if I do not. Let's take Carson Wentz. And then I'm going to... Actually, it'll be faster. It'll be fast enough where I don't have to queue anything up. Let's go through, show this, and I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, there we go. We are back, and I think we can just go queue up a couple wide receivers, and we are not going to have to see that last round. I think it was a good draft overall. The issue was we just got sniped on Goff. I think overall it was actually a fantastic draft, and I'm not too upset with getting sniped on Goff either. Okay, so let's go just queue up a bunch of receivers and move on to our next one. We'll get another puppy draft going after this one. We are going to try to be maxing those out, as I said. Okay, we have Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz. Okay, so let me back out of this, hop into a new one. Okay, so this is going to be over there on Underdog Fantasy. Like I said, this is going to be the $5 buy-in where there's $75,000 at first place. Yes, you get paid for getting first in your 12-team league, get paid for getting second in your 12-team league. They take a small percentage of every league pot, put it to the very end of the season for that massive tournament where there is life-changing money. In the $25 contest, it's a lot bigger, but they also have $2 million the first, $1 million the second, $1 million the most points in the regular season. But hell, let's go through and let's just enter in this $5 puppy. And there's 1 spot left. I don't know if we had a lot of people hopping in here. We will check. I feel like I have a good understanding of everybody who's in the flock with their names. Okay, so we have Amy in another draft, fully loaded. J.K. Hooper, CJ, I think, is part of the Castro's part of the flock. Chimichanga, Derek, NRG Fantasy Focus. But what is good is we drafted 5. So it looks like I'm going to be this is going to be one of my very few drafts where I actually have Jamar Chase. Okay, someone says they can't do underdog in Toronto. I don't know what Toronto's rules are on DFS, but I know that a lot of other people in Canada can do underdog. Like, I know for underdog, because when you sign up, use promo code FLOCK, they'll give you a 100% deposit bonus, and it is kind of DFS. You have to confirm that you're a real person, and like every state has different rules to go through and do that. Some states you have to submit a license, some you just have to do an email. But I think Canada's a little more complicated, but you still should be able to do it. Okay, so Amy's out here. Taylor at the 101, Cup at the 102. I'm assuming we're going to get Chase. And we have like no drafts with Chase either. Najee Harris at the 103. So never mind. I guess we're getting either Christian McCaffrey or Justin Jefferson. Just like I was saying, I mean, Kelsey at the 104. Ooh. This draft room is getting spicy. I like the idea of going and trying to build that unique team. Getting McCaffrey at the 105. Hopefully we get a player falling to us that usually goes at like the 2-3 turn. That way we can have a unique combination with McCaffrey here. Oh, I'm interested in this. The Chosen says, I'm not doing my draft until the preseason. I'm assuming you're talking about your main fantasy football draft. And that's what is nice about Underdog. Like, you can hop into these, and then once you get to the preseason, you go, okay, I'm done drafting best ball teams. Let me go draft my league that I care about. Let's draft that team. And then let's focus on waivers. Let's go through and let's have a regular fantasy football season. But you will be a much better drafter than anybody else in your league if you're going through and practicing on Underdog. Okay. Noah says, DeAndre, are you Girthquake? No, DeAndre is party till she's hot. Girthquake is Noah. Okay, Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon at the 1-2 turn. CeeDee Lamb at the 202. JK, someone in the chat says, JK Ooper is in my draft too and just took Najee Harris to the 102, and I got Cup at the 105. So JK Ooper looks like going all in on Najee Harris. Maybe JK Ooper is this year's version of SPAC, where SPAC last year, every single round, I mean, every single draft, made sure he got J.K. Dobbins and Antonio Gibson. Maybe J.K. Ooper is the new SPAC. Every single draft he's going to go through and make sure he gets Najee Harris. Okay, so now we have Debo going. Okay, well, this freaking sucks. I don't even know what we want to do here. I was hoping we were going to get a player that I was just hoping we were going to get someone who fell to us. That way we could have a unique combination with CMC, but there are going to be so many Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill teams that this is not that unique. This is not that different than anybody else. We should have gone Higgins. We should have gotten Higgins. That way we could have got Josh Allen in the third. That would have been nice. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Okay, so this Kelsey team goes through and takes Aaron Jones. Maybe that was an auto draft. Aaron Jones was sitting at the top ADP, and it did look like he timed out. Outloopy says, could have maybe gone super fragile. Yes, my issue is when we're drafting with people on the live stream, I don't want to say like boo-hoo me or anything. Like, I don't want to act like I'm a... But whenever I go 4 or 5 running backs in a row, whenever we've done it before, I mean, we would never go 5 running backs in a row, but if we start off the draft going hyper fragile and we take 4 running backs, everybody in the draft room looks around and goes, hey, Mason's on a live stream. Let's make him look like an idiot. Let's not take any RBs. Let's just hammer these wide receivers through. Because on Underdog, you can't really lose by continuously taking receiver. But if you continuously take running back stubbornly, you're dead. So, yeah, it's tough. I understand the argument for Aaron Jones. It's probably a valid argument, but it is what it is. Okay, Josh Allen goes here at the 301. Nick Chubb at the 302. Kyle Pitts goes at the 303. I was honestly thinking, like, well, should we try to mix it up and go Kyle Pitts? So J.K. Ooper does get a very unique set of players with Najee Harris and Kyle Pitts. We're going to go hero running back. We're going to do what I'm used to. We're going to take Keenan Allen. We'll take Keenan here, set ourselves up with the potential to get the Justin Herbert stack in the 4th. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm not feeling this draft, friends. I'm not feeling this draft. Henry says Mike Williams' ADP is out of control. He really faded down the stretch. I have very little Mike Williams. I don't want to get off this draft screen, but I guess I could just pull up my phone if I want to look at exposures. Let me look up how often I've drafted Mike Williams here, because the thing is I'm drafting Jalen Waddle over him. So if I pull up my exposures of Jalen Waddle, it is legitimately embarrassing how much Jalen Waddle I have drafted. So far, I have drafted 41 teams in Best Ball Mania. I've drafted 28 teams in the puppy. So that's why I'm saying I need to pick up my pace of the puppy drafts. But I have drafted a total of, and I've drafted wide receivers all the time in the 3rd round. I have 6% Mike Williams. So I am underweight on Mike Williams. And if you look at other wide receivers in that same range, like Marquise Brown, I have a little more Marquise Brown. I don't want to admit the percentage of Jalen Waddle that I have because, like I said, it is embarrassing. Who else goes in this range? Deontay Johnson. I'm going to have more Deontay Johnson. Yeah, I do have more I have more wide receivers in that range. Pretty much everybody except Michael Pittman. Okay, so you have Waddle going at the 308, Hollywood, DJ Moore, and Mike Williams at the end of the 3rd. Patrick Mahomes goes to the 312. I don't know if that was an auto pick by NRG. They go Darren Waller as well at the 401. Let's see how this plays out. Michael Pittman falling. Mike Pitt, ADP of 32. I'll say, if you were to fall to me at pick 44, I'd be fine with it. Okay, Herbert goes pick 38. Can't cry about it. Goes to the Mike Williams team. Probably one of the most common quarterback wide receiver stacks you're going to find. Michael Pittman finally goes off the board. Pick 39 here. Like, Michael Pittman at the beginning, I still don't feel like it's a great value. Michael Pittman falling almost a full round. Still like, oh, whatever. Michael Pittman probably still went too early. Amari Cooper goes at the 404. Ezekiel Elliott at the 405. Okay. Breece Hall, Kittle goes. We're going to stick to the plan. Don't deviate. We're going to go Deontay Johnson. But it sucks that we are setting ourselves up for a world of hurt when we don't have any potential stacks. I feel like we've done a bad job this live stream of going through and getting those stacks at a right price point. Let's see what happens here. It feels like it would be difficult for these teams to pass on receiver. Yeah, Terry McLaurin goes. Jake Cooper is yet to draft a receiver. Najee, Leonard Fournette, Kyle Pitts. We also have Amy's out here with Allen, so I feel like it'd be hard for Amy to go through and pass on wide receivers. Maybe they can. Maybe they can make it work. Jerry Jeudy at the 410. Uncle Andy says Tua and Trubisky, not a bad 2-quarterback build. A very bad 2-quarterback build. Like, maybe we can go with Tua and Pickett or Tua and Trubisky, but we'll have to draft the third quarterback if we do that. Yeah, so you do have a little bit of a wide receiver run happening here, but I don't want to act like, oh, yeah, it's because these teams need it. Now, this is just where wide receivers go off the board. You have Allen Robinson at the 412, Gabriel Davis at the 501. Let's see if Sutton makes it to us. Let's see if Sutton makes it. Fully loaded grabs their second running back. This team has Judy. Like, I would be fine if you were to take Sutton on a team that you have Jerry Judy and you set yourself up for Russell Wilson later. I mean, they did take Jerry Judy first. I don't like the value overall. Okay, they go David Montgomery instead. Oh, no. I wanted Lamar. God. We're going to go Godwin. Not really thinking about it. I literally wanted one of Cam Akers, David Montgomery, or Lamar Jackson. I thought we were sitting up in a perfect spot. Oh, I thought we were in a beautiful, beautiful spot. But every guy we wanted goes off the board. We'll go through. We'll take Godwin. But now, when we don't have one of those top 5 tight ends, we are going to have to draft a third tight end. And we're really going to have to hope Brady makes it to us. We're really having to hope Tom Brady makes it back. So we can potentially only draft 2 quarterbacks. Okay, Brandon Cooks, Juju Smith-Schuster, Courtland Sutton all off the board. It is like very similar to Pittman. Like Sutton goes here in the middle of the 5th, and I'm still not like screaming, oh, great Sutton value. Like, I just think, let me look up if I've drafted Sutton in a single league. Because I don't want to act like I haven't drafted Sutton if I have. Yeah, no, I haven't drafted Courtland Sutton in a single league. Pittman, I have Pittman in 6% of these drafts. Maybe it's just drafting with y'all and getting him in the middle of the 4th sometimes. That's higher than I would imagine. Okay. So NRG, Fantasy Focus on the clock. They've gone one of every single position. They have 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 running back, and 1 receiver. Henry says your wide receivers are great. Yeah, but when you go 4 wide receivers through the first 5 rounds, of course they're going to be great. Like, we can't necessarily say, oh yeah, that's how we're going to win like, we're still in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot. We really needed Lamar to make it to us in the 5th. If I were to go through and change anything about this draft, I don't think we do. Maybe I take like T. Higgins in the 2nd, hoping Josh Allen would have made it to us in the 3rd, but Josh Allen went at the 301 anyway. So it looks like that wouldn't have worked out. Hunter Renfrow goes to the 601. So it looks like NRG, I believe he took Adams. Yeah, he took Devontae Adams in the 1st. Looks like he is setting himself up for the Derek Carr double stack a little bit later on. Okay, let's pull this up. Derek on the clock has yet to go running back. I'd be interested to see if he decides to go Gibson. He goes Drake London instead. Interesting. Grabs London as his wide receiver 5. Jalen Hurts goes. Pisses me off. Joe Burrow goes. Pisses me off. Elijah Moore goes. I don't want to speak of it. I don't want to talk about it. We're going to move on. We're going to act like it didn't happen. We are going to just be quiet, act like it didn't happen. Take Michael Thomas. Derek says, stacking Drake London with the Arizona Cardinals game. I need to get on your level, my man. I need to get on your level. Okay, so Hopkins goes to the 609. And real quick, I have great news for y'all. If you want to draft against an idiot like myself, put me on tilt. Not allow a single wide receiver to fall to our lap. You can go through, sign up for Underdog Fantasy, draft with us. We're doing this every single day. You can make a lot of money off me. You can take money straight from my pocket, straight from my bank account. But first, before you do so, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy so I have some money for you to take in the first place. Use promo code FLOCK, link in the description. We're drafting here every single day until kickoff. It's going to be a long off season. Elijah Mitchell finally goes off the board at the 612. Adam Thielen goes at the 701. Okay, so you've had a massive run of these wide receivers. Interesting to see Gibson go behind. Okay, J.K. Hooper took Jerry Jeudy, so I'm assuming they grab Wilson here. Yeah, they go Russell Wilson. I will lose my mind. I swear to God. I will flip out. I will flip. Boys, I want to cry. I thought it was good. I thought it was going to be even worse than it was. Okay, we get Brady. We get Tom Brady coming in. 705. Stack him up with Godwin. Dalton Schultz immediately after. A.J. Dillon immediately after. I don't care what happens from here on out. We at least got Brady. And I'm feeling much better. Much better. Brandon says, Bengals play the Bills week 17. Same as Derek, stacking London with the Cardinals. 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's actually the most common week 17 stack people are going for is the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals stack because it fits nicely. I mean, you do have Josh Allen going in a range where usually the Jamar Chase team took him in the first round, or you could pair Allen with T. Higgins in the second. You could also go through and you could get Gabriel Davis in the fifth. So yeah, it sets up easily for you to go through and stack that game environment. I mean, I'm talking about like Derek already thinking through. He takes Kyler and Hollywood, so he's going to get Drake London in the sixth. I need to work on that. I need to get to that level. Okay, so Sky Moore goes at the 7-10. You know what we're hoping for at this point? We're hoping wide receivers start coming. Now, there aren't too many great wide receivers left. I guess we could get Russell Gage on the way back around. Yeah, because last draft we didn't get Gage because we didn't want to go through and just continuously add a million Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this team. And we had Leonard Fournette. So we were like, okay, we have Fournette, Godwin, Brady. We can't add Gage here as well. But this one would be a little bit different where I think we could add Gage. And if we did that, we would end up probably drafting 7 wide receivers instead of 8. Okay, so NRG on the clock. Let's see what they do. No, I was going to say, did they just auto? They didn't auto draft. They took Dallas Goedert. About 10 picks ahead of ADP. Interesting to get Goddard there. I assume they would have gone Lockett. Who did Derek go with the last round? Hawkinson? Yeah, great pick, Hawkinson. Lockett at the 801. Dak Prescott goes to the 802. Dak had an ADP of 84. Yeah, so that's a great range to get Dak Prescott. You have him on the CeeDee Lamb team. Derek goes Cordell Patterson over Sanders. Interesting. So Brooklyn Bum has 4 running backs. I feel like they can't go with the 4th. I'd imagine they probably are kicking themselves for taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the last round. Unless, are they on auto draft? No, they're not on auto. They took Brandon Cooks 56, ADP at 59. Took Jalen Waddle head of ADP as well. They go Chris Olave. We don't have any Los Angeles Rams players. Okay, so Garrett goes Lance. Lance pick 90. You have Debo. You have Kittle. Yeah, getting the double stack. We're going to go Miles Sanders, running back 2. I think this is going to be an easy pick. ADP 78. We need a running back. We're getting him pick 92. Don't really think we need to talk about this too much. I was about to debate if we should have gone through and if we should have taken Lance there if he fell. But when he doesn't fall, I think we're fine. See, Lala says, how do I see my exposures on Underdog? Oh, yeah, this is a real cool thing. If y'all draft in a decent amount of these drafts, like if you go fire up 15 of the $5 drafts and you want to go see how many of each player you have in shares, what you do is you go to the lobby on Underdog. See if you can see this. You go to completed, and then you're going to have all your drafts here. Those are all the private drafts we did at the beginning of the season. And then down here, you're going to see your exposures, and you can view it for the entire 2022 season, combine Best Ball Mania and the puppy, and you just go through and click on exposure. So go to your completed tab. Okay, so Dawson Knox at the 901. Allen Lazard. We worked this draft beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, we worked this draft beautifully. Damian Harris at pick 99. Okay, this is CG. This is the team that went through and took Kelsey with pick 4. What are they doing now? They go Tony. Yo, we're getting Kenneth Walker. This is why we take wide receivers early. This is why we pass on running backs early. Usually I want to get an elite level tight end. It didn't happen. That sucks. That's what I get for drafting with y'all. But we're getting Kenneth Walker, ADP of 87, pick 101. Easy pick. Easy pick. And now we are set up at running back as well. We definitely only have to go 5. I don't want to say we can stop at 4. No, we have to go 5. But it's going to come down to, we have to draft 3 tight ends. I don't know if we can get away with only drafting 7 wide receivers here. We may be able to get away with only drafting 7 receivers. So Kareem Hunt, James Cook, go back to back. Let me think through this. So at the wide receiver position, we have Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas. I want to say every single one of those wide receivers has it in the range of outcomes that they're a wide receiver 1 this year. We have 5 of them. I don't think we have to draft 8. I think we're done at 7. We're going to draft 7 of those options. So if we only draft 5 running backs in 7 receivers, we could, in theory, get away with 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. I hate that roster construction, but I think it's the way the value fell in this draft. People went out and took quarterbacks, tight ends early. Usually I like to do that so we can stop at 2 of each position. But it is what it is. GA says you have Tampa versus Carolina week 17 going. What's nice is if this team ends up winning the puppy, if I win $75,000 with this team, I will go through and I will say, oh yeah, I knew exactly what I was doing. I took Christian McCaffrey, the 105, and then I targeted the Buccaneers later for week 17. In reality, I wasn't thinking that at all. We just got lucky. Okay, so Deshaun Watson does end up going at the 1001 to NRG, who also took Robert Woods at the 912. Really like the Robert Woods value. Okay, so let's pull this up. Zach Ertz. I want to see how much Zach Ertz I have. I feel like I have very, very little Zach Ertz. Jameson Williams goes to the 1003. Yeah, I have Zach Ertz in 1 league. We've drafted him in 1% of our leagues in a random Best Ball Mania. So hopefully Zach Ertz isn't either. Hopefully I think we have Trey McBride in more leagues than Zach Ertz. Obviously, McBride a last round pick compared to where Zach Ertz goes. Okay, we're going to grab another running back here. Look at me, Mr. Running Back Heavy Drafter. Dear God. Y'all need to tell me to cool it with these running backs. We're about to grab our 4th, and it's the 10th round. Are you kidding me? Dear God, we're going crazy here. We're going Chase Edmonds, a running back 4. It's just, we're taking value where it lays. I mean, if we're getting Edmonds there, we're getting Edmonds there. Okay. So, I honestly want to say, while this is not a team that I'm comfortable with the construction, like obviously tight end, we're going to have to do some patchwork. Running back, I feel like we're fantastic. We have McCaffrey, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Walker, Chase Edmonds. It's a pretty solid group of running backs. Receiver, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas. Tom Brady is our quarterback. I feel like we are in a very good spot here. I feel like we are in a very good spot. I'm not comfortable with it, but hell, it is what it is. Frymuth goes at the 10-10. We are up in about 6 picks. Rondell Moore at the 10-11. We may end up. Cousins here would be interesting. Like if we were to take Cousins, potentially get Irv Smith Jr. later on. Okay, Cousins goes regardless. Never mind. Gronk goes to the 1102. We really wanted Gronk making it back so we could get the double stack with Brady. It is what it is. This team didn't have a tight end yet, so you can't blame them for going with Gronk. Devontae Parker off the board. CJ has 2 running backs with Aaron Jones and Barkley. The elite quarterback, the elite tight end, 6 receivers. Okay, let's see what they do. They're not on auto, I don't think. Yeah, they go Myers. We're not reaching on wide receiver. We're just not. We're going to go with a Mike Gesicki. There would be an argument to be made to take Rashad Penny and just monopolize every single touch in that Seattle Seahawks backfield, especially at this ADP. We do have Tyreek Hill here, so I was saying we could have potentially set ourselves up with the Tua Tagovailoa stack later on. Tua here goes above his ADP. Can't blame Castro. He doesn't have a single quarterback, so it is what it is. But we were going to go with Gesicki just to give ourselves the option of the double stack with Tua Tagovailoa a little bit later on. Amy says, Mason, I'm the idiot of this draft. Okay, let's go through it. Let's check out Amy's team, and let's see what she has done. So Jonathan Taylor, 101. I honestly like the draft through the first 3 rounds. Like, when you take Taylor at the 101, I have found that for whatever reason, it is so much harder to build around the 101 team this year than it was last year. Obviously, last year didn't work out with the injury to Christian McCaffrey, but still. Then you have Allen Robinson, Gabriel Davis at the 4-5 turn. So Gabriel Davis to stack with Allen. I think Gabriel Davis, if we're talking about the player, he is much worse. Like, I'm not going to end up with much Gabriel Davis whenever you're looking at Akers, Montgomery, Lamar, Godwin. Like, I prefer all these players over Gabriel Davis. But you do have the Allen stack. So obviously it's understandable why you decided to do it. Antonio Gibson. I would personally take Antonio Gibson over Elijah Mitchell. I know that is almost a coin flip for a lot of people at this moment. Adam Thielen at the 701. I agree with Pollard, Alexander Madison, running back 3, running back 4. Dawson Knox to get the stack with. Yeah, I think this is a fine draft to get Kirk Cousins to stack up with Adam Thielen as well. I think it's a fine draft. I think you are put in an awkward spot in having to choose Gabriel Davis at the beginning of the 5th, because in my opinion, maybe other people think differently, but I think it looks like a horrible pick on paper. Like, I think taking Gabriel Davis over Godwin looks atrocious, but yeah, Josh Allen, so it makes sense. Like, it makes sense why you would do it. Okay, so Derek up. See what Derek does. He got the value with Rashad Penny at pick 129. He goes Rashad White, kind of assuming he was going to go White. So all these running backs, if you're wanting a running back making it back to you, it's not happening. Look at this run that you saw. Now we're closing on pick 140. Jarvis Landry goes 137. Tim Patrick's off the board. Who were we talking about potentially getting at quarterback later on? Because I think if we take Fields, he has a different buy than Brady. And there is rushing upside with him. There is rushing upside with Justin Fields. You can easily get Byron Pringle or Velus Jones in the last round. So we're going to go Justin Fields. And I actually think that we can probably stop drafting quarterbacks here. But dear God, I just realized it's almost 7. My dog is probably hating me right now and about to piss herself. So I'm sorry. I wish I could complete this draft. We're closing in on 3 hours of the draft. Probably going to have to cut it here. I will finish the rest of this draft on my phone as we walk the dog. But thank you so much for being a part of the Flock Sport in the channel. If you have not done so already, we are streaming these drafts every single day. We went 4 or 5 drafts today. 4 or 5. There are so many chances for you to draft with us on the live stream, get into drafts in the public lobby. Just go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Link in the live chat. Link in the description of the video. Promo code FLOCK. Support this channel. And I think that's all I got for you. I truly appreciate all of y'all. I really do hope y'all have a great Memorial Day. And I hope we get to see you with the live stream tomorrow.